Empty with no brain, but the clever nerd, the best MC with no chain you ever heard. Take it from the Tech 9 holder. They bit, they don't know they neck shine from Shinola. Everything that glitter ain't fish scale. Let me think, don't let her faint, get Ishmael. A shot of Jack, got her back, it's not an act stack. Forgot about the cackalack, holler back, clack, clack, blocker. Villainy, feel them in your heart, chakra, chart topper. Start shit stopper, be a smart shopper. Shot a cop day around the way, bout the stable. Who to know is too molded, wonder where the shooter go. Bout to jet, get him, not a bet, dead him. Let him spit the venom, said him, got a lot of shit with him. Let the rhythm hit him. Stronger in the other voice, we makes the joints that make them spread them butter moist, man, please. Stage made of panties, from the age of baby hoochies on to the grannies. Man me the dough rake, daddy, the flow make her fatty shake. Patty cake for fake. If he wasn't need a baker's man, he'd take her for her masters. Hit it once and shake her hand. On some old thank you, ma'am, and ghost her. She can mind the toaster if she signed the poster. A whole host of roller coaster riders. Not enough tracks. Hot enough black. It's too hot to handle. You got blue sandals. Who shot you? Who got you? New spots to vandal. Do not stand still. Both show skills close but no krills. Toast for polos. Post no bills. Coast to coast. Joe Snows flows ill. Go chill. Not supposed to overdose. No dose pills. Off pride types talk wide through scar meat. Off sides like how Wolf ride with Starfleet. Told ya on some get rich shit. As he gets older, he gets colder than a witch tit. This is it, make no mistakes. Where my nigga go? Figaro, Figaro. O's beats in my rhymes attack. A scary act, all black like Miss Mary Mack. Wait till you see him live on the piano. Doom sings soprano like una dociano. My mama told me, blast him, pass her a glass of OE. Not to be troublesome, but I could sure use a quick shot of double rum. No stick of bubble gum. I like ice cream, we could skip the wedding. Have a nice dream, she only let him stick the head in.
All right. How's everybody doing? Let's see here. So, effing chat for Coach Red Pill. I'm not gonna until I see a major news organization talk about it. I'm not gonna talk about it. He's probably not dead. How many times have we seen Coach Red Pill die now? At least 3 times. I have personally witnessed Coach Red Pill die at least 3 times. I'm not gonna sit here and soy, Coach Red Pill is dead, soy, and then he like pops back up alive here in a like week or so, which seems to happen every single fucking time he dies. He just keeps on coming back. He just keeps coming back. You can't stop him. He's impenetrable. He's unstoppable. He dies and he comes back. He truly is a messiah figure. Didn't the State Department confirm it? I have no clue. If you have a link that says that the State Department confirms it, then I guess I'll believe you finally. But I'm not going to believe it until like there's some sort of confirmation. I don't know what I would say is the bar for that, but it's got to be something more than what's happened before, where he dies and then he comes back. Okay. We'll watch it after we listen to a second round of attacks on Houthi rebels. God, the U.S. is so fucking based. Can we all just... Everybody just, like, sit back, get yourself comfortable. All right, get yourself comfortable. That's what I'm doing. All right? I'm going to sit crisscross applesauce. Get super comfortable and just bask in how fucking based the U.S. Navy and Air Force is. breathing that clean American air. The Houthis are being genocided? Okay, Assad. The U.S. is one of the best countries ever? One of? It is the best country. We blow people up when they stop our fucking ships from going through. Okay? It's so fucking based. Our Supreme Court in Finland refused to give accused Russian war criminal who we caught in Ukraine because of Ukraine's prison condition. Oh.
Second round.
UK and others as well. Yeah, but who's in charge, okay? Who's in charge? The U.S. is in charge.
Of strikes against Iran-backed Houthi rebels in Yemen. U.S. officials say one of its destroyers pounded a radar site with cruise missiles and that it's in response to repeated attacks on commercial ships in the Red Sea.
These attacks have got to stop. And we're talking about one of the most important international waterways in the world.
Well, it happened after the U.S. and U.K. hit dozens of targets on Friday in the initial wave of strikes against the militant group. The Houthis are now threatening to retaliate.
The American and British enemies bear full responsibility for their criminal aggression against our Yemeni people. It will not go unpunished or unanswered. The Yemeni armed forces will not hesitate to target threatening sources and all hostile targets on land and sea in order to defend Yemen, its sovereignty and independence.
CNN's Oren Lieberman has the latest now from the Pentagon. Oren?
Victor and Amara, the U.S. carried out further strikes against Houthi targets in Yemen on Friday night local time, this time targeting radar facilities used by the Houthis. A much smaller set of strikes than what we saw one night previously, where the U.S. led a coalition of countries that targeted nearly 30 Houthi sites across the country with more than 150 precision-guided missiles. Those included radar sites, command and control nodes, as well as storage and launch facilities for anti-ship ballistic missiles, anti-ship cruise missiles, as well as drones. Those are the sorts of weapons the Houthis have used to target international shipping lanes in the Red Sea, one of the most critical international waterways in the world. Following that series of strikes, we saw, according to the Pentagon, the Houthis launch an anti-ship ballistic missile into the Gulf of Aden. It didn't hit anything, but following that strike, following that launch from the Houthis, the U.S. carried out this further strike, again targeting a radar facility, so a much smaller set and a much more specific set of strikes. It's unclear at this point if that was specifically in response to the ballistic missile fired or if this was simply a follow-on to the previous evening's strike. A senior Pentagon official had said the U.S. was still conducting a battle damage assessment, so it's certainly possible the U.S. saw what it had been able to destroy and realized there was another target that needed to be hit or destroyed here. The U.S., again, trying to send with these other countries a message of deterrence to the Houthis and a warning. President Joe Biden saying on Friday that if the Houthi attacks on shipping continued, so too would the U.S. strikes on Houthi facilities. Still, the strikes have tried to be limited in scope, making it clear they're not going after all Houthi infrastructure, just their ability to target international shipping lanes. The question, could they conduct a sort of massive barrage like we saw them do earlier in the week? Senior Pentagon official says he believes, from what he has seen, that the Houthis would be unable to conduct a barrage of that magnitude based on the U.S. and coalition strikes. Victor and Amara?
All right, Oren, thanks so much. Joining us now is CNN military analyst and retired Air Force Colonel Cedric Leighton. Colonel, good morning to you. I want to pick up where Oren left off there. How much do we know about how much these strikes have degraded the Houthis' capabilities to continue what they've been doing in the Red Sea?
Yeah, good morning, Victor. The basic answer to that is we don't have a complete picture of that, so we don't know whether or not we have an effective strike. We don't know whether there was any damage to the complete infrastructure that would handle the radars, the SAM sites, the surface-to-air missile sites that the Houthis have. We also don't know whether we got after their launch facilities for their drones or any of the attendant command and control elements for that. So the short answer is we don't have a complete picture yet. But I think they had enough of a complete picture to do this second strike, and that was what prompted the action overnight.
Yeah. Between these strikes, after the first but before the second, the Pentagon says that they were able to fire at least one anti-ship ballistic missile, although it missed its target in the Red Sea. I wonder your reaction to hearing that just hours after the first round, this is how they responded.
Yes, so I think the big thing here, Victor, is that the Houthis clearly had an ability, and what they were doing was they were showing that they could still strike at shipping in the Red Sea. The good news for us is that they didn't hit anything. The bad news is they still have the capability, and that's, I think, the real issue here. The capability is still in existence, and it's going to be a long time, I think, before that ability is completely eliminated.
The U.S. says that this is not an escalation. These strikes are actually to avoid escalation. From a purely militarily perspective, we'll talk about geopolitical with our national security analyst. But is this an escalation?
Well, from a purely tactical standpoint, if you're on the receiving end of something like this, you would probably consider it an escalation. If you're a Houthi and you're getting hit by these things, you're something that you would talk about that way. And we saw that from the Houthi spokesman that was part of Oren's piece. I think one of the key things to keep in mind, Victor, is that their perception is that this is an attack on us. Being them, this is an attack on their facilities, their infrastructure, their ability to do what they want to do, their ability to even control their government. And that's how they're seeing this. Whether we see it like that or not, of course, is a completely different issue. We don't see it that way. We see it as a very limited capability, very limited action against their ability to strike at commercial shipping and U.S. Navy shipping.
Isn't it funny? Like, we see something as like super fucking limited, and the other side's like, you're fucking destroying everything that we hold near and dear. And we're like, yeah. But like for us, this is just like, this is just like Saturday. So sorry. That kind of sucks for you, doesn't it? Like that's just how we be. That's just how we be. It's so fucking based. Oh, we're just going to carry out some limited airstrikes. Why? Because we fucking can. Because we can, and what are you going to do? Stop us? What are you going to do? Houthis? Fucking stop us? I don't fucking think so. God, the U.S. is so based. We can literally do whatever we fucking want. And 9 times out of fucking 10, we're actually, and again, I say 9 times out of 10, we're actually doing a good thing. We don't always do good things. But when we do, boy, we do the right thing. Holy shit.
In that area.
So if the Houthis continue to target the commercial ships passing through the Red Sea, the U.S. they have said they will continue. The U.S. said that there will be a continued effort to deter that. What are the options moving forward for the U.S. and the U.K.?
Well, the options... Yeah, between the U.S. and the U.K. and the other partners in this effort, I would say the options are basically this: do nothing, which would be unacceptable, or go ahead and continue strikes like this. The magnitude of the strikes may be more like what we saw overnight, where specific installations or one specific installation is targeted, but they are going to leave the options open on the U.S.-UK side to do other things, to have more strikes that are of a greater magnitude that can actually take out a larger portion of what they have. And some targets may be restruck because that's going to be something that they're going to have to do as well once they do the battle damage assessment.
Colonel Layton, thanks so much.
So fucking based. All right, we're just waiting for the ADD medicine to kick in, okay? So we're just watching some news, waiting for the ADD medicine to kick in. If you guys have anything fun to link for right now, go ahead and link it. You see some Democrats being mad at Biden. Yeah, link me anything about like the Houthi stuff, okay? Link me anything about the Houthi stuff.
Shrugged off warnings from China and re-elected the ruling party for a 3rd consecutive presidential term. It's a vote that could have major consequences for U.S. relations with China. CNN's Will Ripley has more.
History on the streets of the Taiwanese capital tonight. Thousands of people are out here listening to the first words of their new president-elect, Lai Ching-te, and their vice president-elect, Xiaobi Kim. This is their first press conference after confirming that they have accepted their election win. The two opposition parties, the parties that were considered friendlier to China, both conceded earlier in the evening on Saturday. The election results came through relatively quickly, just a few hours after the polls closed here in Taiwan. This island democracy has a reputation for being very efficient when it comes to tallying the election results, partially because there are just under 24 million people living here, and nobody can vote in absentee ballots. So everybody who cast their ballots, the millions of Taiwanese who voted, actually had to do so in person in their hometowns. But a lot of people turned out. There were just under 2,000 polling sites here in Taipei alone, and there were lines at a lot of them throughout the day because of what is at stake in this election. China had told the Taiwanese people, warning them in the run-up to this election, that this was a choice between peace and war, prosperity and decline, implying that the Democratic Progressive Party, which is openly loathed by Beijing's communist leaders, is the wrong choice in China's view to lead Taiwan for the next 4 years. And they've been making their point not only with bellicose statements, but also with actions, including just in recent days sending spy balloons over Taiwan, unveiling imagery of their third most advanced aircraft carrier, one of the most advanced in the world, that experts say, once it completes sea trials, would play a vital role in any potential invasion of Taiwan, which China has never ruled out, as they say that they will eventually reabsorb this island as part of their territory, even though the communist rulers in Beijing have never actually controlled it. And of course, there's always the looming threat. But people here, the supporters of the Democratic Progressive Party, say that's exactly why they've decided to give the DPP 4 more years in Taiwan, because they believe that the party's strategy of a close alignment with the United States, prioritizing military, diplomatic, and economic ties with the U.S. Is the way to protect Taiwan from a Chinese attack, as opposed to the opposition's argument that, in fact, mending fences with China, rebuilding that relationship, and recalibrating the U.S. relationship would have been the way to dial down the temperature and avoid a cross-strait conflict. But Taiwan has made its decision, a third historic consecutive presidential term for the ruling party, the DPP.
Will Ripley, thank you so
DPP.
much. And just a short time ago, China responded to the election results. The foreign ministry saying the election does not change their view that Taiwan is part of China. Let's get more now on this historic election. Bonnie Glaser is the director of the Asia program at the German Marshall Fund.
Did I take my medicine? I think I did.
China's response there.
Oh, is it DDT? Oh, man, it would have been so much funnier if it was the DPP.
I thought Beijing's response
double
was
penetration.
moderate. They reiterated that unification is inevitable, but also said that they look forward to working with some political parties in Taiwan. Of course, that means probably every political party other than the winning Democratic Progressive Party. But there were really no new threats in the statement that was issued by the Taiwan Affairs Office in Beijing. It's probably a placeholder, so we'll have to see what steps they take in the weeks and months to come.
And the U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken, says he's looking forward to working with Dr. Lai Ching-te, after Lai won the presidential election. What does that say, or how is that received if you are China?
I think that China expects nothing less than that the United States will continue to strengthen ties with Taiwan. I would also note that President Biden had a statement as well. And what he said was a reaffirmation of U.S. policy that the United States does not support Taiwan independence. And that's a message that China has heard before, doesn't necessarily think that it is credible, but it's important for them to hear. And I think that it does, to some extent, reduce the possibility that they will react very strongly in the near term. And I think it was intended to reassure.
In what way might it be an obstacle between the U.S. and China as it tries to, resume operations and relations?
I think that Taiwan, of course, has long been a issue in the U.S.-China relationship where we've had very sharp differences. And the two presidents, Xi Jinping and President Biden, speak very directly to each other about Taiwan. And they met in November at the Woodside Summit. And my understanding is that they had a very candid exchange. I believe that Xi Jinping wants to preserve the fragile stability that has been achieved in the US-China relationship. He is probably focused on the economic headwinds and corruption in the PLA. I just don't think he wants a conflict with Taiwan at this point. And he doesn't really want to upset the improving relationship with the United States, even though he probably has low expectations.
Do you feel like Taiwanese feel more emboldened now? We heard our Will Ripley there saying that, voters say that this was a choice of peace over war. And now that this is a historic third consecutive win, what does that say for Taiwan's posture?
I don't think that the new president, Lai Ching-te, and his vice president-elect, of course, Bi Kim-hsiao, who's been the representative from Taiwan in the United States for several years, I don't think that they are going to be emboldened to pursue independence. We have really heard both of them reaffirm that they will continue the policies of the current president, Tsai Ing-wen, that is preserving the cross-strait status quo. And I think they both realize that they only won 40% of the vote. That means that 60% of the people in Taiwan voted for one of the other candidates. The DPP ruling party also lost its majority in the legislature, and so it will be more difficult to pass laws going forward as a result. And so this is going to be, I think, a challenge for the DPP, but I think their priority will be continuing to strengthen ties with the United States, with the rest of the world, and I don't think they want to rock the boat in relations with Beijing.
All right, Bonnie Glazer, we'll leave it there for now. Thank you
Glazing.
so much.
Thank you.
All right. State Department thing. Let's see here. The State Department just responded to my request for comment regarding Gonzo Lira's death. You'll notice the State Department doesn't say Gonzo Lira's name. This appears to be a generic statement. They also want to address my questions, which were, during Lira's detainment, did the State Department ever reach out to the Ukrainian government on Gonzalo Lira's behalf? If it's, one second, if it's a generic statement, does that mean, I don't know if this is confirmation yet. Oh yeah, here, really quick. All right, let's do some drama stuff.
NSFL content.
All right, I watched a little bit of this stream. Food shops. Okay. It's time for the tea. Okay, food shops is unimaginably fucking stupid. I don't know. Wait, Keffels talked to food shops? I think you're baiting me. Okay, Keffels, not Keffels. Food shops is fucking retarded. I don't know what it is about her psychology or what, but she ironically does a lot of the same things that Keffels does, where she has to fight someone. She has to fight someone. And there's this trap as a content creator where you feel the need to like do something super exciting or have something super exciting happening with just you that will bring people in to watch your stream, right? Not covering other people's dramas, but having your own drama happening at the time, right? There's a draw there, right? I usually get over it. But Food Shops doesn't seem to have the ability to get over it because she's not even starting fights with people who stream. She's starting fights with people who are just stream adjacent. Like Yuki here, okay? Literally no benefit is going to come out of fighting with a chatter as like a main segment for stream unless they're coming on to debate. All right, unless you're going to have them on and talk to them about being like a spurg or some shit like that. There's no fucking reason. Yuki streams, I mean, a long time ago, motherfucker set me up for failure during a fucking politically provoked debate, thinking, because I was a socialist at the time, that it was important to disagree with everything I fucking say. Even though... Okay, anyways, just let's... I wonder if that VOD is still around. I don't know, but I wonder if it is. Because I was 1v3ing that debate for no fucking reason. Anyways. Yeah, so Food Shops doesn't seem to be able to pick her battles at all. If this is bait, I'm going to ban you. Good work, Sieg. Good work, Sieg. Good work, Sieg. You broke stream. How does that make you feel? Okay, anyways. Let's see if watching the Twitch clip is possible.
How are you?
Good. I just had a question.
Yeah, what's up?
Why are you a pedophile?
No. But, Keffels, do you really want to do this, like...
Suck my dick. I kicked her.
Wait, can I get like the I can't hear what's happening over Rezi laughing. Need to get him on Linux distro. I don't even know what kind of disease that is, but
How are you?
Good. I just had a question.
Yeah, what's up?
Why are you a pedophile?
No. But, Keffels, do you really want to do this, like...
Suck my dick. I kicked her. Let's go back to what we're doing.
Hey, yo, dude!
that's so fucking...
What the fuck was that? Dude! Oh my god! What the fuck is that, dude?
Chill, Rez.
Unironically, what?
How are you?
Okay. Brought her on, asked why she's a pedophile, said L, and then kicked her from the call. Fucking based, unironically. No. Fuck. And like, this is why Food Shops is so fucking stupid. She could have absolutely... like the immediate thought in my mind is, oh, if you're going to play that game, I'm going to play a game too. Oh, you're going to accuse a trans woman of without Rezi? Thank you. And it's streamable, so it won't crash the stream.
Right.
If it was me in Food Shop's space, I would have been like, you know what? You're just going to like right out the gate like pedo jacket a trans woman? Don't you understand what kind of danger that puts me in? Like immediately just like woke scold in response to cement that you're in the call before getting kicked. Why the fuck wouldn't you do that? You know where you're going into.
Hello.
How's it
Hi.
going?
Good. How are you?
Good. I just had a question.
Yeah, what's up?
Why are you a pedophile?
No.
No.
But, Keffels,
Nope. It's so fucking stupid. Come on.
no. But, Keffels, Do you really want to
L
do
plus
this? Like,
pedophile. Suck my dick. All right, I kicked her.
L
Let's go
plus
back to what we're doing.
pedophile, suck my dick.
Hi.
Kicks from call. Fuck, dude. I've never seen someone in so continuous of drama without the ability to navigate that drama. I don't understand it. Why would you keep doing it to yourself, dude? Why would you keep doing it to yourself?
I am a pedophile. I am a pedophile. I am a pedophile.
Is there I don't know how. Is there anything that happens before or after that? Like, is this is a hell of a clip, chimp. These Netflix adaptations are getting absurd.
You goddamn right. I'm a literal pedophile.
Man, oh fuck. Okay, well, I guess we're doing it. You know what? Fuck it. Let's talk. You wanted me to go to 34802. Okay. I want to give a brief overview of what happened up to this point in this VOD. I listened to it while I was at work yesterday. It's like I said a few days ago, she acts like how she accuses Keffels of acting. Like, at least with Keffels, because Keffels is just doing continual drama over and over, but she can navigate it. Even if, like, it's not perfect all the time, even if it's not perfect navigation of the drama, at least Keffels can navigate the drama. Food shops can't navigate the fucking dramas. Keffels has learned, in my opinion. Yeah, she has. And she's also better at playing the game of, like, when someone accuses her of something, whipping out the fucking, oppression Olympics fucking, well, here's my oppression card. And it has this many things on it. How many does yours have? Like, she can do that in a way that's both still funny. It's a little annoying just because of what it is. But, like, it can be funny and makes the other person look bad, right? Food Shops doesn't do that, though. I don't know, like... Anyway, so here's, like, the backstory. Yuki, please, really quick, before I go into this, are we going with he, him pronouns now? He, them pronouns? Are we going with they pronouns? I want to be respectful. I've been referring to you as a girl for the entire time that I've known you. So we're switching up. I want to know where we're at. Give it to me in plain English. Okay? Essentially, Food Shops and Yuki here. He, they? Gotcha. Okay. So Food Shops and Yuki were buddies. And then Yuki gets braces and says that because he has braces now, he looks young, and he's getting carded to get vapes at, like, gas stations or smoke shops or whatever. Food Shops' mods then say, Yuki, you're a literal pedophile, you're young maxing, and you're trying to, play off of your young boyish looks to fucking get vapes? I don't fucking know. Anyway, then there's a bunch of DMs that get leaked all over the fuck. What's young maxing? What the fuck do you let's take the two words here, young and maxing. What do you think it means to young max, Gas? Now, I'm only using my intuition to understand what it means, but what do you think it means? I haven't had anyone lay it out for me, so maybe I'm wrong. But I would assume that young maxing means that you're trying to maximize looking young. to look really young. Yes, you're trying to look young. That's young maxing. So they start calling Yuki a pedophile because he has braces, which I think is really fucking stupid. Now, granted, if Food Chops is watching, you can correct me, okay? But unless there's anything else, because I am only getting one side of the story here. I watched Zonia's VOD. Hi, Zonia. Watch Zonia's VOD. I don't know what the fuck Food Shop's side in is this. I do not know how to fucking steelman this shit. It really just seems like drama baiting fucking, no offense, Yuki, fucking Discord Humegalols for drama, which is a fucking very small streamer inclination. I've done it before. But I don't have the handicap, the mental handicap of not being able to navigate a drama. So I guess we'll start from here and we'll watch, because this is a timestamp where I guess Food Shops just admits to leaking DMs for literally no fucking reason. Terminally online internet shit is just cancer. It like how Han is apparently transphobic, even though it's common slang in many areas. Okay, hold on. It's just the connotation of when you're saying it. I don't think it's cancerous to say that it's transphobic. I don't think it's cancerous to say that it is. Because it... Okay. Man, this is outing me as having way too much time spent in majority trans like Twitter groups, all right? Twitter group chats, okay? But essentially it's like this. It's like someone says, "Do I look good?" And they're like, "Hun, you look great," right? "Oh, hun," right? It's kind of like a sarcastic or kind of like backhanded way of saying like, "Bless your heart, you totally look like a girl," right? That's why it's just like the connotation in different like subcultures or subgroups. Like I don't think it's cancerous to say that's transphobic or whatever, because I don't think it's transphobic. It's just part of like trans culture. It's how people in Jersey talk shit. I have no idea how people in Jersey talk shit. Well, because of it, everything freaked out. Ah, that's so fucking funny, Sieg. To be fair, it's like I said to Zonia, I'm on a bullet train to 30 and do adult entertainment, so I do intentionally try to look younger. Or should I say night train? I don't know what the joke is there. All right. If we're making standards off of Jersey, we're fucked. True. Okay, let's watch this. I'm going to play Factorio for a minute.
Losers, yeah, that's what I said. Not safe for landscaping. Not safe for lav. She has no limits. I think everything is safe for lav. Oh, live streaming. That could be one. Wouldn't it just be NFSS though? Like 2 S's? Not safe for streaming? Not specifically from Lolly. Oh no. Scallywag says not specifically from Lolly. No sanctuary for live streamers.
Okay, skip to the...
All right. Not safe for lol cows. There you go. Not safe for lol cows. All right. So here's what we're going to go over, I think. All right. You guys ready? You ready for it? You ready for...
You were listening to GNR? What is GNR? I can't think of what GNR is. The only acceptable song that's about a train. Here. Guns and fucking Roses? Oh, gross. I'm sorry. This is the only acceptable song about a train.
She used to be an iron horse 20 years ago. Used to bring the mail to me through the ice and snow.
I sat alone and watched her
steaming through the night. 90 tons of thunder lighting up the sky. She was the princess of the night.
God, that song fucks so fucking hard, dude. God damn, that song fucks. All right. Anyways, back to our lolcow stuff.
Or some wild shit that you haven't seen yet. I'm going to substantiate all of my statements about food shops agreeing with me that this shit is a bad look. And that it's a bad idea. So, 1 second here. And you know what? We'll put this in the small window because I can get back to my game.
Man, Zonia is such a gamer.
All right, so this is a privated video. So remember when I told you that I talked with food shops when she leaked all of the private chats and DMs between her and Yuki? At this point, I didn't trust her anymore. I mean, as it was, I already didn't really trust her much anyway. I had always been cautious with food shops ever since she leaked me her DMs with Brianna Wu. So I was always very cautious with her. Here, let me pull this up real quick. I'm going to show you something. I'm not going to show the full thing. But here, we'll just do this. So in my conversation with her, I recorded it because I didn't trust her. And I was thinking she's probably going to end up making the video anyway. She already brought all this shit up on stream and it was unnecessary. She didn't even need these private chats to make her case or to support her position or anything like that. She simply did it for no good reason, just to have drama to talk about on stream and to preemptively do a public nuke on Yuki when all this stuff is private between him and Emma and food shops, and then like a few people in a private channel on a private server who had access to that channel, and that's it. So I went ahead and I recorded this conversation thinking, yep, this is probably going to turn into some shit. So I'm going to have this ready to go in case it does turn to shit, because I want to have this conversation on the record. And then I can push back on any of the bullshit or lies that she comes up with, because she's already preemptively nuking Yuki publicly. Again, somebody who isn't even a content creator. So here is that conversation. It's an hour and 8 minutes long. Hello.
Hello. Oh my god. Wait, hold on.
Gotta feel bad for SFO. This had to hurt him badly. Maybe. I don't know. I wonder what SFO's opinion is on everything. But like, again, like I'm getting one side of the story. It's from someone that I would trust more than probably anyone else in the space. I think that Zonia is probably one of the most chill, reasonable. Oh my god, I'm getting attacked. 1 second. Damn it. Should have seen that coming. Okay, cool. Yeah, but it seems like if I was going to trust anyone in the space with just about anything, it would probably be Zonia. She seems to like actually be a human being that has thoughts, feelings, emotions, and a brain. That isn't solely focused all around only content. She seems like an actual like normal fucking human being. So I put a way more trust in someone like 1 second. Let's do that. Fuck. Yeah, anyways, Zonia's like a very trustworthy person, and Food Shops has not given very many people much of a reason to trust her. So that's where we're at on that.
Oh my god.
What?
Oops. I'm trying to turn my campaign. Hold on.
I'll keep
Oh,
it. I'll
hi.
keep it at the 1.5x because there are some pauses in there and such.
Hey, hello.
Oh, hello.
Hi. Wait. Oh, you haven't put on my thing for you. It's the drama scarf.
What is it? Is it drama scarf?
It's a drama scarf.
Oh.
So basically, what it is that for the red scarf, I use it from now on. My proposition since yesterday is like I wear the red scarf when I'm reading theory because I have two audiences, two core audiences. One audience is there to watch me read theory, and the other one is there to watch me cover drama. So when I'm covering drama, I'm wearing the white scarf. Because I'm like revealing the truth, so it's like white. And when I'm wearing the red scarf, I'm reading theory, so it's like I read theory. So it's
By the way, everybody has done this gimmick, man. Mr. Girl has done this gimmick. Will on his channel has done this gimmick.
What is the gimmick?
A number of other people have done this kind of gimmick. I don't understand the point of it.
red. Yeah, and yeah, that's about it. So yeah.
Oh, okay. I did not know the scarf thing. The scarf meta or whatever you would call that.
Well, what's new? What's new? I just made it up.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind. That makes sense why I don't know about it. Yeah. So I saw your VOD this morning. I watched, I think most of, well, I guess I probably caught the whole part where the bridge burn with Yuki happened and everything. So I am aware of the situation. What I guess, okay, my thing that I'm looking at and I'm noticing here is the DM leaks. And I'm like, okay, why are the DM leaks happening? So that I'm kind of curious about. And then like overall, we could talk about the whole situation with Yuki if you wanted, but like my biggest concern here is the DM leaks. And then you're talking about like putting out a video, and I'm sitting there going like, why did you go as far as the leaking of DMs? I get that you want to defend your position, and you're like, you feel the whole. To aid in donation pursuit, it worked, at least the stream I tuned into a couple days ago. Situation is, you feel that his reaction is unfair and such. And what? Don't press tab or look at game chat, by the way, thanks. What? Why are you doing that? I already pressed tab earlier. What did you do? Do I need to clear the chat? I mean, I guess I could clear it off screen or something. What happened? Give me some warning, because inevitably I will end up opening chat. So you wanted to demonstrate like what was going on, but like the DM leaks is a bit far, right?
It's a bit
DM
far.
leaks, I guess.
Well, any of them really, because you're
leaking DMs, you
It's also going to
weirdo.
show you how it is that she views DMs and friendships and interpersonal disagreement. It's kind of interesting. Looking forward, things that were said in confidence with you, right? Also, like the stuff that was going on in Yuki's private server. His server is like, it's not a public server, so the only people who have access to that stuff is like, what is it? Let me take a look right now. I think
Sure.
it's no more than about 10 people at most.
Wait, which one? Which one specifically?
Let me take a look here. Turns out it was 6 people, including her, who had access to the stuff that she had leaked. And like, you can even ask if you're having like a disagreement with a person. Like, she could have asked me to like petition Yuki to let her leak the logs or something. But I don't know, that's a little bit much. But like, just in general, it was just, you don't need to do that. It was not necessary. The whole thing was private between just a handful of people. Nobody was talking about it publicly. Food Shops was the only one who brought it into the public sphere. Even though I have to basically advertise where I'm at most points. Yeah.
So here's the thing: is that generally the way I sort of look at it is that
Not even 10
if-
people. It was
Sure,
1, 2,
so-
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 when you were in there who had access
Sure.
to what was in there. And that's including bots. So it's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people in total
Sure.
had access to that.
So the way I look at it is that, like, if I feel like I'm being threatened, which I genuinely was at the time, right? And I, you can just choose not to believe me, right?
He was basically saying, do you want me to, what did he say? Like, speed run gasoline as in like burn all the bridges for you or something, right?
Yeah, and he was also saying like there's like the mod team or something, and to which I don't have access to any of the inside knowledge on the mod team, but I had to go off of the knowledge at that point. And then at that point, like, obviously, to me at that point the privacy no longer mattered. Like, to me it was just a matter of self-preservation. Does that make sense?
I would say the privacy still matters though, because that's like, so let's talk about this optics wise, right?
So something that Food Shops does that I don't understand is like this need to it's incomprehensible need to drop nukes on someone else first before you even know if there's going to be any actual drama, right? Like, there's no reason to think that there's actually going to be any drama. I thought I just heard some dudes, but I guess not. So I just don't understand why she felt the need to like do a preemptive nuke. There's no reason to. I guess like I listened to this at work and I'm just curious to see like what her rationale is, because it seems fucking crazy. Like, actually insane. Like, I do not understand it whatsoever. Let's pick up some. Okay, can I insert Cole? Gotcha.
This is something that, like, in general, people are going to hopefully trust in, that the things that are shared in confidence with you in private are going to remain that way, even if you have a falling out. And one of the most important things that people tend to cling to as a content creator, right, or as a streamer, is that sort of a sense of professionalism around what's shared in confidence. Like, for instance, Queetman and I don't like each other at all. We just don't like each other. He's been extremely antagonistic with me in the past and had some pretty nasty things to say about me. But Queetman and I have exchanged like private information, like personal information, or not personal, like private information about various things. And we know that neither of us will ever leak each other's DMs. Even though we're not friends, we don't like each other. He tends to have a very negative opinion of me and will not hold back, not pull his punches when talking about me in a negative light.
Okay.
But I know he's never going to leak my DMs, right? And that's like a really important thing. And the big thing for me when I saw you do this was, to me, it was like a pattern. It's like, okay, so there are multiple instances where you've leaked DMs between you and someone else where things were said in confidence. For instance, when you gave me all of the Brianna Wu stuff because you were like, hey, this is, she's burning the bridge with me and I want someone to have this information.
Wait, I feel like, yeah, sure. So I feel like I've been consistent in this matter though. Like, for example, if I'm burning the bridge with somebody, then it's like, that's hands off at that point. Because for me, if they've told me,
Yeah, she has been consistent in that. That's the whole point. That's exactly what I'm saying in this. Yes, you've established a pattern. You've consistently leaked information shared in confidence between her and another person whenever she burns a bridge with them. But think about this from the perspective of anybody else. Why would anybody engage in any kind of interpersonal or collaborative interactions with you if you are notorious for publicly leaking or sharing with other people information shared in confidence between you and people, right? If that's what you're known for, if that's your established pattern, as you put it, if what you've been consistent for doing, then why would anybody ever collaborate with you? Nobody would want to. You're too risky. Like, oh, she's the one who always leaks everybody's information. Yeah, I don't want to deal with her. Like, if she's worried about losing access to people, if she's worried about Yuki burning all of her bridges, well, becoming
why the fuck is she doing
notorious,
anything
infamous
that she's doing?
for
Yeah.
being a leaker of information, you're signing yourself up for not even having those bridges in the first place. You're preemptively sabotaging all of your bridges because nobody will want to collaborate with you. Nobody will ever want to trust you. Good night, then, guys. I'm Toast. LOL. See you around. All right, Raiders Cat. Have a good night. Yuki was a well-known mod. I don't know about. Well, I mean, Yuki has mod privs in a lot of different communities, I guess. He's a collector of wrenches and swords. But
A collector of wrenches and swords.
or people would just
I
not
can't imagine
DM
a worse
stuff that
fate.
they don't want out there because she's untrustworthy with DMs. Even beyond that, because you oftentimes don't know what could be weaponized against you. You may think that your DMs between you and another person are totally innocuous, but as your walls come down, as you become more friendly with a person, you don't even realize that sometimes you volunteer just a little bit too much information. And then as soon as there's a disagreement between you and the person, and that other person, Food Chops, gets paranoid, like she does, and suspects that there's going to be a bridge burn and preemptively nukes you by leaking all of your DMs, well, then suddenly you're compromised because your walls came down a little bit because you got friendly with them and you didn't realize that you said stuff that you actually wouldn't have been comfortable with being leaked to the public. So nobody's
Do I need
gonna
to check
trust her.
my
And think
DMs
about it
from
this
back
way. Don't
when
even
me
think
and her
about
were
like personal
DMing?
stuff. Think about collaborative stuff.
How's it going, Tron?
When I'm collaborating with people, there's often stuff that I don't want the public to know yet because the person I'm collaborating with or me, we want to be the first ones to go public with it, right? We want to be the ones to be the first ones to do like the game show or do the panel on this topic or to release this video essay, right? So we don't want the public to know about these things. So we're collaborating and we're exchanging information on it and sharing and stuff like that. And if one of the people broke that ring of trust and shared that information to the public, we're fucked. And we have, it's been leaked to people and then other people can preemptively pick it apart or do their own version of it, right? And get the attention for it. So there's all kinds of reasons why it is that you won't want to talk to somebody who is infamous for leaking DMs to the public. There's all kinds of reasons why you wouldn't collaborate with them. Let's see. Oh, is Cat's going to bed too? Oh, there's Raiders Cat. Yeah. Let's see. I was only on mod in YouTube chat and never a Discord mod. Oh, you're talking about modding for Food Shops? Yeah.
About like personal information, like for example, if they told me about their dog dying, or like for example,
Something super
if
personal,
they
you would leave that out.
Exactly. So for example, if it's something related to ultra person, like, oh, my mom died, like obviously I'm like, why in the world would I reveal this to the world? Like that's incredibly insensitive, right? But if
Yeah.
it's something that's related to the drama, then yeah, of course, because that's something relevant. That's something that is directly relevant. People want an explanation.
That's
People-
ridiculous.
for example, Yuki at that
I'm
point has
sorry.
integrated himself into the community. He has integrated himself with the Discord members. My community is still small, right? It's
Mhm.
not anywhere as big as any other community. And at that point, I feel like I owed people in my Discord server an explanation of what's going on. And Yuki has been a Discord mod and all of that stuff, right? So at that point, it's just like people want to know, so for me, it's and here's the thing, I understand you're like also protective of Yuki and stuff like that,
Yeah.
but it's also like I don't know, his like a lot of like we had some growing animosity as well, like over the past few whatever. So
I didn't know that you guys had animosity going on, but
well, we had some growing animosity. We had some conflicts here and there. We said sorry a couple of times after to fix some stuff.
Mhm.
But obviously this was probably like the kind of the last straw. I guess.
I just splashed myself with my own drink. What the hell?
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
That was weird. Yeah. So, I guess because let me give you my perspective. So, like when you gave me the DMs with Brianna Wu, I was a little surprised by it. I was like, whoa, this is unusual. I'm not used to this kind of thing. At the time, I barely even knew you. So I remember one of the things I was thinking after that whole thing happened, I was sitting there thinking, well, who's she going to be sending my logs to? Like, I barely knew you at the time when you sent those logs to me. So I'm sitting there thinking, well, who are you going to leak my logs to? Like, if we have any kind of disagreement or things seem like, let's say you misinterpreted and think that there's a bridge burn, and I'm like not even intending there to be a bridge burn, who are you going to leak my logs to all of a sudden?
True.
And so then I've got that kind of red flag going on. But then this situation with Yuki happens, and you leak his DMs and his private server chats onto a stream to cover it. Like, all you really had to do, you could have explained the situation. You could have said, look, from my perspective, this seems like a total overreaction to me, and he's threatening to burn the bridges that I have with other people. I don't understand why he's going to these lengths, but here's my perspective and here's my take, and here's some context based on conversations that he and I had in recent days, but without actually leaking stuff from his.
Yeah, I was going to go over that in a little
the
bit,
DMs
Tron.
between you two, because that's where things get real dicey. Because think about from his perspective, he's going to be wondering, much like I do, what else are you going to be leaking? What else are you going to be posting, and where are you going to be posting it? Your Discord, your stream, making a dedicated video out of it. Then from my perspective, like, who else are you sending these to? Now that you've got the Yuki bridge burn, who are you sending all of your DM history to, right? That's from my perspective. So, and I didn't even mention this at the time, but think about another thing from my perspective. When I confronted her about the Queeman demands and the weird, crazy video that she made about Queeman, she admitted to me that she DM'd the demands to Mr. Girl, of all people, just pulling in a random third-party person,
What?
another bigger content creator, to DM to him out of nowhere. And so, I didn't mention this at the time. I probably should have. But one of the other things that I'm sitting there thinking is, like, who are you DMing these DMs of Yuki's to, in these private chats of Yuki's to?
Yeah, it's mutual assured destruction between me and C. He knows everything about me, and I know everything about him. I know every detail of your life, C, and I'm coming after you. If you ever turn against me, it's straight to hell for both of us.
Like, she DM'd Brianna, her DMs with Brianna Wu to me when she barely knew me. Right? So I'm sitting there thinking in my head, okay, there's a good chance she sent Yuki, her DMs with Yuki and the private chats from Yuki's server to other people. They're in other people's DMs as well, just stirring up drama with random people. The whole reason why she sent that shit to Mr. Girl, it wasn't memes as she put it. It was to bait drama and try to get Mr. Girl to talk about the drama on his stream. Right? That's why she did that. There's no other reason to randomly pull Mr. Girl in and send the shit off to him in DMs. The only reason for that is to bait Mr. Girl into talking about the drama on the stream. Again, going back to the fact that she manufactures drama out of nothing. She creates the drama. That's her whole MO, right? And so I'm sitting there thinking, how many other content creators has she DM'd Yuki's DMs to and Yuki's private chats to? That's what I'm thinking. We all know how Mr. Girl loves pink pill fan fiction because he's such an ally of trans people. That's sort of the reputation that you're building right now. And at this point, I'm sitting there going, how far is this going to go? Who have you sent this stuff to? What else have you sent to them? What are you going to do with the rest of it? So.
Sure. So the thing is,
Yuki, what personal information did Food Shop's leak of yours? Like, what is... maybe there's just something that I missed while listening kind of halfway at work, but I just don't... what did she feel the need to release as a result of this nothing drama?
is that
maybe I didn't mention it and I just forgot.
I think I understand that from your perspective, is that things should be private, if like the implication is that like if they're given to you with the perspective that they should be kept private, right? Only between the two of you guys. Like, all things.
She doesn't even get it. There's the assumption of privacy when you're DMing to people. There's not some assumption that the world is watching your DMs. That's not the assumption. Now, here's the thing. When you're in this space, I advise everybody, always assume that your DMs are being read by other people that you didn't intend them to. Private chats, in private Discord, same thing. Same thing with anything else that you think is private. Just assume it isn't going to be, because...
Hello? Why? 1 second, guys. I gotta go take care of my abused cat. I'll be back 2 seconds. This poor, pitiful man. Which poor, pitiful man? Cow cat? All right. Oof, shit question. Careful with releasing what's been released. Well, if it's already released, then, and they're referencing it in this video, I don't think that they have like much of a problem talking about it at this point, right? Nothing personal, but she showed a few DMs of me asking her why she's telling people I told her stuff about Kuiman. How do you say that? How do you say that motherfucker's name? Is it Kuiman? Is it Kuiman? Is it... I honestly have no fucking clue. I've heard it said so many different fucking ways. Let's let me grab this. But there's the hint that she'd release more stuff where I talk about my partner and my personal life and living with my foster mom, etc. So it's more okay. Here's all of these threats to expose more. Rhymes with we. Gotcha. She never addressed a fallout with Brianna, but in private she was sending her entire history with her. Same with her entire history with Connor. I'd be so interested just to hear her perspective on this. Does she have a stream where she talks about it? Or if, hey, Food Shops, if you're watching, love to get your perspective on this because I have no idea why you're doing any of this shit, like whatsoever, dog.
Because there are people, unfortunately, like food shops, that will leak your shit to everybody with barely a prompt to do so. So just assume that's going to happen.
Yeah, the only reason to ever leak DMs is when, like, your reputation is on the line and there is a direct line of, like, proof, right? That shows, like, oh, this person is lying and it's going to damage me, like, in the future, and I can release it without, like, doing life ruination, unless what they're doing is life ruination towards you, in which case I guess it's fair game. Like, there's definitely a reason at some point to release DMs, but is this it? I don't think so. I don't think so. Not this one. Yes, Rachel Wilson is Andrew's wife.
I guess the thing is that, like, I come.
I literally said that. Sorry, I'm not reading every single chat.
Steven, right? And then, like, later on after.
By the way, Bridges and Twitch poll burn all the time and, like, get fixed, like, the day or week after or even that day. Yeah, I do. But, like, is this something that is salvageable? Because, like, I don't know. I told food shops, like, hey, I don't think that you're, like, actually a pedophile. I think that you're too stupid to make people realize that you're not an actual pedophile. You're like fucking retarded, dog. How the fuck are you failing to convince people that you're not a pedophile when that is, like, the easiest thing in the entire world? No, I do not think that kids should be sex objects. Right? Like, it seems like that's super easy. Maybe that's just like a personal thing. Maybe I'm the asshole for assuming that it is actually super easy to not be seen as a pedophile. Maybe that's my privilege as a non-pedophilic person. It's just, like, super easy for me to never give the impression that I think kids are hot. But oh wait, hold on. It's inserter and transporter belt. Ah, sick. Look at that, guys. And we're about to have green. I just need a fuckload of these. And we'll just stand here and pick these up. I mean, Muhammad had a hard time with that. Maybe it's not as easy as you think. True, but he was a pedophile. Because he actually did fuck an 8-year-old.
Called it. I totally forgot that she even said this growing up watching Steven. But even Steven doesn't do this. Like, it's in certain extreme scenarios he does. But in the case he fucked up with the Molina thing and leaked that shit to the DGG.
Muhammad conquered the world? Bro. I thought Muhammad conquered the world. I thought her name was, like, fuck, I can't remember her name. I can't do the fucking joke. What is Muhammad's? It's like, what is the girl's name? Oh shit. It's like Sophia or something, right? What is Muhammad's 8-year-old, concubine's name? I can't fucking remember. Never mind. Aisha.
When he shouldn't have.
Aisha, right?
Shit. But like, historically, I haven't seen Steven just suddenly leak DMs to the public out of nowhere like that. There have been certain situations where he did. Also, always assume your DM transit method glows. Yeah, that too. Yeah, don't even trust that their phone isn't, like, hacked on the other end. Food shops is a type of person that shouldn't be allowed to stream and should be seeking help for many of the issues she has. She needs a legal guardian and parental controls on her computer. Destiny doesn't create the drama. He just jumps in front of it.
Afterwards, entering the space, is that
sometimes he creates the drama.
I always felt like if I had to go public with something, I can't just give a narrative and then that's it. Because I feel like if I get onto the space and then give a narrative, then people go like, okay, but have you brought the receipts though? Have you brought the evidence? Where's the evidence? And then because I feel as though there is at least one instance where I've done something like that before, where I've gotten on air and then said some story, but then people have asked for receipts, and then I didn't have the receipts then, and then I was like just stuck there, and I didn't really want that to happen again.
Yeah.
So I don't remember when it happened, but I don't know, like, or maybe it never happened. I don't know, but I'm just saying is that that's always a nightmare scenario for me, where I gave some kind of story and then I don't have the receipts and then whatever. So I want to give those receipts preemptively, so then I never have to have at a later date have to worry about trying to get the receipts, because I feel as though if I give out a narrative in public and then the other person who is like being worked against, right, manages to like basically delete every single message and then close down everything before I can screenshot everything, then I feel as though like that's bad because.
I mean, this is crazy, but just use Discord chat exporter. You know, if you think things are melting down, use Discord chat exporter so you've got your copy of the DMs. But you definitely do not want to be the first one to leak the shit to the public, because you're always going to be the bad guy. You're always going to be the bad guy unless you're pushing back against a lie told to the public by the other person that is contradicted in the DMs, in which case you show that very specific part that shows the contradiction, which she didn't.
That is a very eloquent way of saying what I was trying to say earlier.
Do. She drummed these up for no damn reason. Just to manufacture drama. She didn't even need to do that. The whole thing was private in the first place. Maybe she went to Mr. Girl because he wouldn't criticize for having lolly kink. I don't know. I'm not gonna try and psychoanalyze that one or read minds on that one. When is Destiny created?
Did you guys see the video of? I think it was Amsterdam. There was a Quran burning, which is like, okay, you're super cool. You're doing a Quran burning, freedom of speech, right? But like we live in a liberal society, so really shouldn't matter at all, right? People should just, learn to fucking deal with other people disagreeing with their religion or ideology or whatever in a liberal fucking society, but that's not the world that we live in. So, do we want to, how do we want to do this? I'm probably going to like blow all this up and then like fix it again later. So we'll make those. But like in Amsterdam, they were doing a Quran burning and they had to have like riot police outside. Like, I don't know why it is. Like, maybe I'm culturally insensitive. I don't know what it is in like Muslim culture or Islam where if someone insults your deity, you have to like get giga fucking violent over it. Yep, that's not going to work. Okay, there we go. Pick those up. And then there we go. Yeah, clearly Food Chops needs to turn into a fucking Middle Eastern warlord. It'll fix everything. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, like for some reason, like we can look at the like people are like mildly upset about the stuff with what's his fuck? The gay dude that makes all the religious, like he twerked on Satan. What's his fucking name? Lil Nas X. He made a music video about like Jesus Christ, right? Oh yeah, I'm gonna be Jesus Christ and I'm gonna be sexy Jesus with a fucking mech suit for some reason. And there were some people that were like, oh, this is sacrilegious. But like, do we see like mass fucking protests where people are like threatening to kill other people over it? Not really. So I just like, I'm so curious why it is in like Muslim specifically or Islamic culture to like want to fight and kill people who disrespect the Quran? Does anybody know? Ben Shapiro is very mad. Ben Shapiro is Jewish.
Created the drama. He created the drama with the Melina stuff. Welcome, Freakazoid. Welcome aboard. Thanks. Good to have you. Yeah, he created the Melina drama. Like he was the first one to publicize that shit. And posted about it in Destiny.gg chat.
Then I don't have the narrative under control or something like that. Or yeah.
So, like when Steven tends to leak things, he tends to leak them after a claim has already been made about something.
True.
That is contradicted by.
It's in self-defense,
DMs, right?
You know that like something that I like to say. I don't remember who I saw. I think I saw it in Spicy Chat first, but just like, God, I hope this person puts me in a self-defense position, right? I hope someone forces me to be in self-defense mode so that I can take them down, right? Making jokes about Kyle Rittenhouse. But that applies 100% to Twitch drama. As stupid as that sounds, it 1,000,000% applies. Okay, let's see is this going to work out good for us? It's going to work out good for us. I think this is going to work out just dandy. So let's get landfill, and then let's get automation 2, and then let's get that, and then that, and then fuck it, let's get that. We're just going to, bro, wait. There we go. There we go. Yeah, it sounds stupid and silly, but like it's just so unbelievably fucking true. Why is it not start research? Why is it not automatically happening? Why am I not researching? Oh, do I not have enough power? Oh, wait, hold on. Because Islam believes in martyrdom, so it's actually good for them to die for their religion, where most other religions don't have that, so dying for your religion seems dumb to them. Well, hold on. We literally have in, like, the Christian canon martyrs. Do we not? Like, isn't Joan of Arc considered a martyr?
So I don't think you needed that to support your position. Like, I don't think you needed to actually leak those in order to support your perspective or your position or how it is that you felt about the situation. And
okay.
not only that, I mean, you can always just save the logs and hold on to them for, you know, the rainy day logs, right? So that in the future, if claims are made that you need to counter with DMs, then you have them ready to go. Yeah. But it's not something that you should be preemptively running with, because then you're just the person who's leaking stuff that's said in confidence, and it isn't even necessary.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So you're saying that if like there's a counter narrative, and then like something is being contradicted basically, and you really need like somebody to provide actual evidence of like to disprove a counter narrative, right?
Yeah, like one of the only 2 times that I ever leaked DMs was Mr. Girls, and I leaked them because of a claim that he made that was fallacious, where he said something that was just flatly untrue, and he had told me what the truth was months before that in DMs, and so I leaked very explicit portions of my DMs where he told me the actual truth, and then 4 months later said something completely different, made a completely different claim that contradicted the original truthful claim. And that was one of only 2 times that I ever leaked DMs to the public.
Okay, I can see where I messed up. Okay,
yeah,
I see what you mean. Okay, yeah, no, okay, all right. Fuck.
And the problem is, like, when I watched, now obviously, Destiny looks so bad in the Melina drama, sadly. Yeah, he definitely looked bad in that one. It was not a good look. you've taken the VOD down, so it's not accessible anymore. But a lot of people saw it.
I took the VOD down because I looked at it and I was like, oh shit, I misspoke at like 2 major parts. And then I was like, oh shit, like I need to edit the video into a thing where I'm gonna watch the video, and that is like the true version, where I'm gonna make my edits and say, okay, I need to make a correction here, and then say like, okay, yeah, like this is a correction I'm gonna make right here, you know?
Yeah, and like for anybody who saw the VOD, or the portion that I saw anyway, it looks like you're simply leaking the logs in order to, well, not just to, you know, to, yeah, it feels like intentional drama, like going out of your way to generate more drama and turn it into something. I think you could have kept the whole thing pretty quiet between the two of you, because it was the two of you that were kind of like coming to blows. And yeah, he was kind of suggesting that he would burn the bridges for you. But you probably could have just kept that as an interpersonal dispute that happened behind the scenes between the two of you that never had to go farther than the two of you. Like at most it would have spread to Yuki's friends, like me. Obviously I knew about it as soon as it happened because he was relaying the information to me. But
Yuki doesn't have the ability to burn our bridge, right? Like Yuki doesn't really.
I burn my own bridges, so
right?
I
Yuki
do my
can't
own
really go up to you and go like, yeah, I don't want you to be friends with food shops anymore, and then you were like, yes, Yuki, I comply. You know, you can't.
No,
you can't,
that wouldn't be the case. But I'll tell you, when because he told me about what was happening and said go to around this time on the VOD. So this morning when I got up, I took a look at that hour mark and watched it and listened to it. And I'll tell you, at that point, I literally messaged him back and I was like, yeah, at this point, I'm definitely burning the bridge. That was what I said. I'm not entirely certain that I want to like hold to that, but I was pretty pissed off when I saw it. And yeah, I messaged him and I said, let's see, there's been a lot of messages today. I'll just search for bridge burn in here. Whoops.
Yeah, they definitely want to talk to me at the very least, I think.
Yeah, and so, oh, I said, yep, that's definitely a bridge burn for me. That was what I said. So, yeah, and so obviously, you know, pretty pissed off seeing that and like sitting there. I'm like, what was the point of bringing any of this up? You could have, sure, there's a little bit of like a misunderstood beef going on because it did spill out a little bit into the public with the fight between him and the mods and such. But like you didn't have to reveal the whole extent of it. You could have just said, look, there's a disagreement between Yuki and me right now. I'm going to work it out. I'm going to talk with him in private and we'll figure it out. But it's not something that I want to talk about publicly.
Yeah, I
and then
escalated too much.
Yeah, and then you could have just told your mods, we're not talking about it from here on out. Just keep it quiet, you know, and everything would have been fine. But you went in this route of like turning it into a pretty much a segment on your stream.
I turned it into content, yeah.
And then dredged up the DMs and the stuff from the private Discord. And you even worse, even so, see, she's even confirming she understands that she turned it into content when she didn't have to, and it was completely unnecessary. This is her acknowledgement, right? Let's see. This should be so obvious for food shops to understand, though. It sounds like she's just plain dumb. For you, optically, I think oftentimes she does things very impulsively and does not think through the consequences. So, and I think she's super content brained and super drama brained.
Oh, I just realized.
Private Discord. So you're even telling
they have to have both of them in there. It's not
so therefore it's
green and red. It's green.
Yeah, so that looks
it's
bad
not green and then red. It's green and red.
On that part, yeah, it was just me telling the truth. I mean, for me, from my perspective, I don't know what it is a part of me, but again, this is probably like okay, I think you know about my confession compulsion disorder, right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so for that one, and I promise I'm not using I promise again, like this is an excuse, right? But I think like at some point, even though I no longer suffer from confession compulsion, it just became like a part of my personality to like always like tell the truth, even though it makes me look optically terrible.
Which the problem with that statement is then
you're not
you
telling the
definitely
truth.
Suffer from confession compulsion. If it's become a part of your personality, it's ingrained in you. That is something that you suffer from. Then it is negatively affecting you. You're using it as a reason to explain why you did the thing that you did, right? So yes, you still suffer from it. You haven't been cured from it. It's still a part of your personality and integrated into your personality.
Well, like that's it. It's just really weird shit.
Yeah, but it's like you're admitting to people that you won't keep things in confidence. And that's, I mean, sure, it's great that you're honest about it, but it also...
but it's like also fucking myself over, I know.
Yeah, it's going to make people not want to trust you. So, yeah, it's definitely not a good look. So, yeah, so I don't know. And then I saw...
But now you told me. Yeah. So, yeah, sort of, I think I understand what you're saying now. It's like you only bring up private DMs in public when somebody has a counter narrative, right?
When they're publicly making a statement that is contradictory to what the DMs would show.
So a public counter narrative. Is it a public counter narrative to the point where it's on an equal public platform, or can it be a lesser public platform and you can still leak DMs?
I don't think it really matters. If they make it public, then they make it public, and then it's sort of then you probably would feel obligated to counter the narrative with the evidence that demonstrates that it's the narrative that they have is deceptive or incorrect.
So I guess, like, for example, what is what Keffels did, like, I guess, like, reasonable then? Like, for example, if Xander Hall retweeted, Althea, even though arguably at that time, Xander Hall is like has a smaller platform than Keffels, right?
Well, I think Keffel's releasing of DMs actually was potentially not the right action because,
Oh, really? Okay.
as far as I know, Xander Hall never leaked his DMs with Keffels. He was threatening to leak his DMs with another person who had DMs with Keffels, or leak their DMs with Keffels against their wishes, because that person had confided those DMs to him. Like the other person who engaged with Keffels confided in Xander Hall and gave him screenshots of the conversation with Keffels, and Xander Hall was threatening to leak those particular DMs, and the middle person didn't agree to it, didn't want them leaked. So White Nervosa stepped in and threatened him, and so that was different. Now Keffels going and leaking her DMs with Xander Hall, I don't know. I feel like because those DMs were not contradicting a narrative that Xander Hall was spinning. So I think she did the wrong thing there, because she was more just leaking DMs to show the frictious relationship between them versus when they were playing nice, which I don't think was a necessary narrative for her to put forward, right? It wasn't pushing back on any particular narrative that Xander Hall brought to the public. It was just, I forget even what the DMs were, but I think that was inappropriate what she did. If Xander Hall had said, I went to Keffels and talked to her, and she agreed that she was going to do this thing, but then she reneged on it, then Keffels could be like, oh, well, here are the DMs right here. I did not agree to this, right? Then that would be a valid reason for her to leak DMs.
Okay. Okay, fuck, my fucking ADHD fucking kicked in. I feel like oh my god, I didn't process what you said. Oh no. Oh my god. See, this is why earlier I had my fucking appointment for forgetting it.
Okay, I'm sorry. Like, I did bring up the food shops a while ago, like audio processing, like difficulties that people have with ADHD, which is a true thing and a real thing that I've had to deal with, right? Like I will sit there and I'll listen to someone speak to me and then not fucking, I just like simply will not be able to fully process it, right? And when I say like will not be able to fully process it, like I hear the words, but like there's like no connection in the head, right? So like I'll have to have them repeat it, right? But I never use it as like a crutch or an excuse. And whenever I hear someone like in the middle of a conversation bring up like, oh, my ADD just kicked in. No, I'm sorry. That's not how ADD works. It doesn't like just like randomly kick in and like now I can't concentrate. It's just like, oh, I'm sorry. Can you repeat that? Sorry, I didn't quite get that, right? Maybe it's just like a personal thing, and I don't like feeling like people view me as a not a victim, but like a little bit of a victim. Like I don't want to like use ADD as a crutch, especially in situations like this. Like if it's like my girlfriend and like, sorry, I'm like having a rough day, hard for me to process. Can you say that again? But I don't know. In this sort of situation, it feels like a crutch or a way to stay away from the accusations and stuff, you know? Is anyone else? No, it's boring. Yeah, it's a little boring, but it's just stupid. I just don't understand why Food Shops is acting like this. We'll move on here in a second.
Yeah, but you know what the psychologist said? The psychologist did say that, I probably have.
How many disorders can you possibly have? Confession compulsion disorder, ADHD, OCD, POCD, like.
Oh, Zonio is so
how do
real for
people
that.
live like that? I struggle enough with dyslexia. I couldn't imagine like piling on a whole laundry list of other disorders.
ADHD, yeah, fuck, fuck. Yeah, okay, but I sort of get what you mean, though. I sort of get what you mean. Like, it's like there are some circumstances, because I didn't know the general moral practices of like the space, when it comes to leaking DMs. So I just thought that like once I thought the general rule was that once you burn someone's bridge, like it's all just fair game from there. I thought that was the rule.
Nah, because that's something. Because think about it from the long game kind of perspective. And I say long game as like you hear what she just said right there. She was under the impression that the general operating rule of the environment of this space, the culture, is that as soon as the bridge is burned, everything is fair game. And then, of course, from her perspective, as she stated earlier, you be the first one to backstab and to, leak all the information. preemptively. Think about that perspective. I'm just going to say it. I'm not sure it's 100% real in this case. Yeah, I don't think so either. I think people in general in this space manufacture, they pretend that they have all these disorders and everything. It gives them cover when they make mistakes and do stupid shit. So instead of just learning from their mistakes, they could just say, oh, I have this disorder. It's just my disorder. I'm just disordered. And then they don't ever actually have to address the issue. They don't have to learn. They don't have to grow as a person. They don't have to be held accountable for their actions. Really don't treat like interpersonal relationships and friendships that way. But you got to think of it as like a content creator in this space. If you have a pattern, you got to obviously don't treat like the
Rule was that once you burn someone's bridge, like it's all just fair game from there. I thought that was a rule. So,
Nah, because that's something. Because think about it from the long game kind of perspective. And I say long game as like a meme. Really, don't treat like interpersonal relationships and friendships that way. But you got to think of it as like a content creator in this space. If you have a pattern of when a bridge burns, you will leak DMs with them, then other people, as they get to know you over time, they're not even going to want to confide in you anything. Like they're going to be ultra cautious. So you need to keep that in mind. That's going to be the thing that puts you in a risky situation for anybody engaging with you from now on. Right?
Yeah.
So you wouldn't want to have it be that you just leak DMs when there's a bridge burn. There are several. This is something I was actually talking about this on stream yesterday because it actually came up. There was something I was covering that was related to this. There are several people in this space that I burned the bridge with that nobody knows anything about because neither that person or
I actually saw that segment. Yeah, I actually heard that segment.
Yeah, we've never talked about it. Like I'll give you an example here. And I had a falling out. Wait. By the way, there's a bunch of editing out here. I didn't put beeps in. I just quickly edited out the name and any kind of gender references. Just because I didn't want to have issues here. What were you?
I have a feeling I know who it is.
Yeah, I was just gonna give an example. Like, and I had a falling out ages ago, and neither of us have ever told anybody about it. It's like
Oh,
there's
never
certain
mind.
select people in our friend group and my friend group who know about the falling out, but we've never gone public with it. It was totally quiet. The whole reason why. Well, I shouldn't go into details on that one because that was more complicated. But there are multiple people in this space that I've had falling out with that are content creators just like me, and we never said anything about it publicly. We just kept it private because the falling out was private, and it was nobody else's business that we had a falling out.
Right.
We kept our shit clean and quiet. So that's the way that you should treat it. The leaking of DMs should only be in a more extreme case where there's somebody spinning a narrative about you publicly that the DMs contradict.
I see. Yeah, because I understand because later on, if we were to rebuild a bridge with you, like years later, if
I had to do a long gap here.
And then whatever the heck happens, right? And then let's just say in an alternate universe where you released the DMs in the past, maybe he feels slighted enough to the point where he doesn't let that go, and then he doesn't want to rebuild that bridge just because you released the DMs in the past. Now, in the case where you did actually keep the DMs private, then he wants to rebuild the bridge with you because you actually respected privacy in the past. I think, I can sort of see that
and it's an
happening.
integrity thing, so that people in the future, the more you're known for releasing information that was told to you in confidence when you have a burning of a bridge with somebody, the less people are going to trust you. You're going to seem untrustworthy. So and then,
I sort of
and this is just stuff I'm telling you more for your own benefit. But like I haven't even talked to you about like how I
this is
personally
helpful.
feel about the whole situation.
No,
with
no,
Yuki.
this is helpful. No, this is helpful because for me, it is more helpful.
Note that she's saying it's helpful. She's acknowledging it. She's saying she understands. She recognizes the issue, recognizes the problems there, and then goes forward with this shit anyway. Bridges aren't really fully rebuilt. There's always a trust issue. Kind of depends. It kind of depends. Over a long enough time, you can eventually rebuild the trust as well.
To be productive rather than to be like shamed, I guess. You know what I mean? Like because for me, I get all.
It feels like a go-to tactic at this point. Yeah. How long can she keep claiming ignorance of the space? I think it's the same way that she claims disorders are the reason for all of her bad behaviors instead of actually taking account of being accountable for her bad behaviors.
All the time from my own mod team, like at this point, you know what I mean? So it's like I want to know how to navigate the space because I genuinely want to like grow and learn, because I feel like I just haven't had guidance.
If she wanted to like learn and grow in the space, then she would have taken some of the advice from before, but it doesn't seem like she actually does want to grow or learn at all whatsoever. Like just like no fucking shot she does. It just can't be true. Because otherwise we would have seen some sort of change of behavior, but we haven't seen any change of behavior, have we? Like, how many times do you have to be, you know, called out on being lolcowy before you stop acting lolcowy? Like, how much of that has to happen first? Okay, we're gonna finish up here in just a second on this, I promise.
At all, just because it's how dead the space is. Like nobody like fucking exists in this space anymore because everybody's gone. But like for example, like where's Hans, right? Or where the fuck is like everybody else from Twitch Bowl, right? They're gone. Like yeah, they just had like hippy dippy one off, right? So the thing is, yeah, I don't know. Like I feel like these are things I should be knowing, but nobody's there to tell me, right? So
There are plenty of people. Just
I
ask.
appreciate the productivity angle of it. But you know, you can always tell me how you feel as well, right? The thing is
Clearly, I can't, because she would leak how I feel to the public.
another aspect is I understand like you don't want to leak DMs when the bridge is burned, because now in retrospect, if I think about it, now a person has incentive to burn a bridge as fast as possible because you got some juicy DMs to leak, right? Because now you want to have the incentive to burn a bridge as fast as possible. But now when you have the morals there, now you don't want to burn a bridge as fast as possible just because you feel as though like okay, yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, I haven't even told you about how like I personally feel about this whole situation. I've kind of been sticking with more like the pragmatic, what you do, what you don't do kind of thing. Like me, yeah. As soon as I listened to that VOD, I was like, what the fuck? You didn't even have to say anything about this. Like you could have just said, yeah, Yuki and I are having some difficulties, so just don't engage with him for now. Leave it to me. I'll talk with him in private and we'll work shit out. Like that's all you had to do in that situation, and that would have been fine. I could imagine that, yeah, you're probably feeling a little bit, put out because of the fact that he said that, put that hint there that he might burn all of your bridges for you. Sure, I can understand why you might be, frustrated with that. It may feel like there's urgency and you need to act on it. But, like, I think, like you even said in your VOD that, from your perspective, he doesn't have any power to burn your bridges anyway. Like, sure, he was the one who went out of his way to build the bridge between you and me. But that's it, right? From your perspective, you built all your other bridges, and so he has no power to burn them anyway. So I'm sitting there going, well, if that's what you're saying in your VOD, then why the heck are you even talking about this publicly? If he doesn't have any power to burn any of your bridges except for maybe the one between you and me, then why are you even talking about this publicly?
I'm trying to think about my...
Uh-oh, no answer.
Oh, okay. I think I'm trying to remember. Oh, it was because I thought that he was planning a first attack on me. I think that was the fear at the time, but I'm not sure if that was true or not, though. Yeah.
There's a little concept. This is something that actually is a little bit related to the Houthis thing, right? Like, what is deterrence and what is defense, right? And sometimes offense as a deterrence is a good defense, right? If you both have a nuke on each other, you're probably not going to use the nuke because someone else could nuke you too, right? So in this situation, if you feel like they're going to nuke you, let them nuke you and then go out and counter nuke them and make content out of it that way. And you're still in the right and nobody can like fuck with you about it. Right? But you've set yourself up in such a horrible fucking way. No one wants to fucking hear your side. No one wants to hear your side. I think that one, all the disorders this person says they have are fake. And two, this is no less a very mentally unwell individual. I mean, listen, we're talking about a streamer, okay? We're talking about a streamer. Of course, they're very mentally unwell, all right? Do I think that they have something? Yeah. I feel like at this point, if you don't think that Food Shop has, something going on there, you're fucking crazy. As for what it is, I don't fucking know. I'm not a psychologist, but it's a bit egregious, isn't it? It's a wee bit egregious. Okay,
part of me is sitting
we're
here
gonna
thinking,
move
like,
on
why
soon.
didn't you
So if
just
you
talk
guys
to
want to
me?
start
I don't know. You could have talked to me.
linking stuff in
because I thought
chat,
you were
link it.
compromised by Yuki. That's the reason.
I mean,
that was my genuine
sure.
fear.
Compromised
that was
by
my genuine fear,
Yuki?
right? Okay, like sure.
It's
I mean,
not
I feel
that
like I was
deep.
taking away some of your agency by saying that, right? But at the same time, it's like, is that really like too unreasonable from my like point of view? I guess I don't know.
Sure, no, yeah, I don't think that's unreasonable. But I'm sitting here thinking, well, if you didn't believe that Yuki truly had power to burn all your bridges for you, and except for the one between you and me, then like it seems to me the most rational thing would have been to not go public with all this stuff and instead to just have a conversation with me, because like I was pretty open with you. What was it that I said originally when you were talking to me? I said that I was very transparent with you, that I was always on Yuki's side, and
Yeah,
that
yeah,
I'd
but you
always be there by his side, but I'd still be honest with you, right? So
yeah,
it's like you should understand that the fact that I'll be transparent with you, that I'll always be on his side and in his corner, but I'm still willing to be totally honest with you about that and about like any kind of concerns you might have, then you should be able to have a conversation with me about this instead of just panicking and running to to dump as much information as you could onto your stream while doing this, right?
Yeah.
I feel like you should have at least made the attempt to talk to me.
Yeah, that's understandable. Yeah, yeah. I think it was mainly I think it was mainly about the wording of like you said that you were like you would do anything to protect you like burn the world down for Yuki. That threw me off. I think
That's true. It's probably pretty extreme wording. It's kind of true, but yeah. I guess I probably.
Yeah, I mean, like if
Yeah.
if it's
I
the
said
world,
Yuki is one of
then
the few
I'm with
people I'd
me,
burn the world for.
yeah, yeah. So don't tell me, like what the fuck, right? So.
But the fact that I'm
yeah,
really
so,
honest with you about that should tell you that there's like a candidness that you're going to get from me. It's not going to be any bullshit,
Sonia, obviously, Sonia.
Okay, we're done with it. Wrong window. Stupid fucking computer. Okay, let's see here. All right, one more time. Too funny not to watch again.
Hi.
Hello.
How's it
Hi.
going?
Good. How are you?
Good. I just had a question.
Yeah, what's up?
Why are you a pedophile?
No.
Nope.
But Keffels, do you really want to
L
do
plus
this? Like,
pedophile. Suck my dick. All right, I kicked her. Let's go back.
It
to
is
what we were
so. It is so good. It is so good. Just the pause and then no.
I just had a question.
yeah, what's up?
Why are you a pedophile?
No. But Keffels,
Oh my god, you are flooding me. Send me those in fucking DMs instead of in chat. That is overwhelming. Okay. God, that song fucks. Okay. Don't need it. Don't need it.
I am a pedophile. I am a pedophile.
Okay. Let's see. These are things that were in content suggestions. Oh my god, it's an hour long. I don't think I could handle it for an hour. Let's see what the real reason the US and UK and 20 other countries. Wait. That's not what I wanted to do. Okay, so project okay, let's just look up Red Sea. I can't remember the name of the what is the name of the operation? fuck. It's like Prospect Project. Okay, Yuki, this is the last thing that we're doing on this, okay? You said it's 33.49.
He like gets very like it's a whole thing. So if you want to explore that anytime, just to be petty for him.
Emery. Why do I know this? Why do I know this profile picture? Where have I seen them before?
Yeah, you can go ahead and do that. He's a not exactly innocent.
Okay, let's see what
People
this
should
is, and then
probably
we'll.
know.
Well,
Who she's
listen,
associated.
I mean, if he wants some easy content, I mean, from his perspective, it's like, it's understandable, right? Like, I don't blame him for wanting easy content to farm off from, but like, at this point, if he wants to give me free clout, I mean, it's fine.
Who's getting clout?
Links. I originally wanted to come in here.
Yeah.
And tell you that I don't think streaming is good for you, and I don't know if this is for you at the end of the day. But it felt mean to do it.
That's okay.
Now that I'm here.
That's okay. Streaming isn't for a lot of people at the end of the day,
Yeah.
but if you feel like streaming is
They're saying they don't think it's
getting
for
to a
you.
point where it's like not healthy enough for me, that's understandable. I think I've heard that like plenty of times before.
Yeah, I was originally going to come in here more aggressive about it and be like, "You make boring content," but no, that felt too mean. And more so, I kind of want to hear your thoughts on what's your end goal? Like, what do you think? What do you want to do with streaming? Like, what's the kind of like ideal situation?
I guess I want to make a stable income off of streaming. That's
Mhm.
that's my end goal for now.
Do you have a job
A
right
better
now
one?
or anything like that? That's no.
F.
Okay. Do
Is
you
this
feel
so
like you
lame?
make
Yeah.
enough right now to be able to do what you're doing?
Isn't it?
No. Okay. So
You should
something I
stop
had in mind was to
immediately.
start streaming myself. One of the things I had in mind too is before I actually do that and take it seriously is not only do I want to get myself a decent Elgato camera,
Oh, gross.
but I kind of want to make sure I have more conversations
Just
like this
spend
on streams, kind of get
Just
my name.
spend a couple of $100 on a used Alpha 6000 or Alpha A6000. Yeah, Alpha 6000 Sony camera like I did. Just pull all of your bad decisions from all of my streaming decisions, okay? Okay, I'm done with it. Yeah, streaming is not for food shops, I don't think. All right, let's see what is the real reason we're bombing Yemen. Should I give the actual reason first, or should I Okay, I'll give you guys the brief rundown. Okay. Israel-Gaza conflict starts. Everyone's mad because Israel is bombing the Gaza Strip, and there's a bunch of Palestinians there, and oof, this sucks. There's a lot of people dying. And then, there's a couple of people, in the Middle East that are saying some stuff about, oh, well, we're going to help the Palestinians. But then, just like for the past 80 fucking years, nobody actually helps the fucking Palestinians. Jordan doesn't help the Palestinians. Egypt doesn't help the Palestinians. Lebanon doesn't help the Palestinians. Nobody's helping the Palestinians. Even the people that say they want to help the Palestinians aren't helping the Palestinians. All right. But, who's this? It's the great defender at the bottom of the Red Sea. It's the Houthis. And what are they doing to defend the Palestinians? Well, they're just going to interrupt global maritime trade, which is the biggest fucking no-no in the entire world. The biggest fucking no-no in the entire world. You don't fuck with international trade. Why? Because everyone will fuck you up. Why does the United States have the biggest Giga Chad fucking navy in the entire fucking world? Because we protect and we guarantee safe access to shipping routes around the world. And because we provide safe shipping access around the entire fucking world, people, want to trade with us, right? It increases everyone's relative prosperity. It's just like a really important thing. After World War II, we decided, hey, our Navy, it's really big and strong right now. How can we leverage that in our favor? And the way that we did it was we decided to protect all of maritime shipping. We guarantee it. If you're going to want to trade on the sea, then the U.S. is going to stop all the pirates from stealing all of your shit. And it's really fucking cool, right? Because we're American and we can do whatever the fuck we want because we got the biggest fucking Navy. And on top of that, everybody agrees with us. International shipping lanes should be protected at all costs. It is very important for us to have international shipping lanes that are safe, reliable, not going to be overrun by bandits. People don't like that sort of thing. Oh, cool! They are attacking and they're destroying something. Enter the Houthis. The Houthis jump into the fray and they're like, "We're going to help the Palestinians by interrupting the one thing that everybody says, don't fucking touch this or we will ruin you. We will ruin you if you decide to fuck with international shipping lanes." Houthis don't give a fuck because they're Iran backed and they can get more missiles from Iran if they want to. So that's where we're at right now. They attacked some ships. They did not only attack shipping lanes that were, or ships that were Israeli based, right? Which they said they were going to. Oh, we're only going to attack ships that have links to Israel. And then they attacked all the ships. Now, get this, Houthis, backed by Iran, ally of Russia, guess who they attacked? A Russian fucking oil tanker going through the Red Sea. They just started attacking fucking anyone. They started attacking anyone. Big fucking no-no. Big fucking no-no. Can't fucking do it. Literal Houthis? True. So yeah, they're doing the biggest fucking no-no in the entire fucking world. Now we're getting bombed by the U.S., right? Because they're going to protect international shipping lanes. We shot down a bunch of their rockets and we said, hey, if you keep on attacking international shipping lanes, we're going to attack you. And so what did they do? Well, these Giga Chad Houthis, they decided, well, we're going to attack you first. And so they shot missiles and unmanned drones at U.S. fucking naval boats. And so the U.S. said, oh, you attack my boat? Okay. Well, you just gave me clearance to do whatever the fuck I want. And so, yeah, we started bombing the Houthis, along with 20 other named nations and 20 anonymous nations. Let me see. What is the name of the... Oh, man. Operation Prosperity Guardian. I think that's what it is. Prosperity Guardian Operation? Ah, sick. So this is the operation to protect the sea routes. So we have the United States, the UK, Australia, Bahrain, Canada, Denmark, Greece, Netherlands, Norway, Singapore, Sri Lanka, and whatever. Yeah, I don't know how to say that one. Sorry, guys. I don't know how to say Seychelles, I don't know. Strength unknown. Why is it unknown? Because from what I understand, there's a bunch of people that don't want these attacks to keep on happening on ships, but also they also don't want to, you know, they also don't want to lose street cred by allying with the United States. Let's see here. If they talk about the anonymous people. Da, 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 da. Okay, I don't know where to find this claim that I heard that there were a bunch of like anonymous people. I say people, anonymous countries in the coalition. But we have a bunch of people here: United States, United Kingdom, Australia. You know, all of these people right here. And they said no more attacking the shipping lanes that are happening right here. They're bombing ships that are coming through this little chokehold right here. So, what is the real reason? You know, despite all of the other shit. Oh, cool. I just minimized fucking everything. Cool. Despite all of the totally reasonable and legitimate reasons why the United States might want to attack the Houthis, right? What are the reasons that we're actually doing it? I'm so curious.
This British-US war against Yemen is a war to protect Israel and its genocidal campaign in Gaza. The United States and Britain.
Except for this affects literally everyone all over the globe. I want to keep that super stressed. I want to stress that point super fucking hard. All right? That the United States is not doing this because it's defending Israel. The United States is doing this because everyone's bottom line is impacted by this. Everybody's. I don't mean that in any, you know, hyperbolic sense either. I'm saying literally everyone is impacted by maritime global trade. I think that because of the insurance costs that went up as a result of this, right? I think that the impact on inflation and on prices going up in other countries is like 2% right now, which is a lot for just like one dinky little operation of fucking terrorists in one tiny little country. For them to impact global trade by like 2%, or impacted by like an increase of 200%. I can't fucking think. By 2%, increasing global prices by 2%. That's fucking crazy that they have the ability to do that. Okay, we're gonna make a bunch of those bad boys. Let's just make a fuckload of these dudes and just wait for it.
Some of the richest countries in the world are bombing some of the poorest people in the world in Yemen for the crime of defending some of the most persecuted people.
Except for, again, like, I feel like the United States wouldn't even have as strong of a claim to do anything about this right now if they actually did only attack ships that had links to Israel. But I think that, from what I understand, there's like one ship that had ties to Israel, like directly, and then all of the rest of them were like, oh, well, this ship works for an organization or for a company that has an Israeli on the board, right? And then like it kept on getting like even more, you know, even more degrees of separation until like we're talking about this Russian oil tanker. It's like this has no connection to Israel whatsoever. You're just attacking anyone that goes through this strait. Guess what? Now you get the full force of the fucking U.S. fucking Navy. Let's fucking go. Tomahawk missile time. These jihadists, they wanted to meet God, and they have found the quickest way to speed run a trip to paradise.
People in the world in Gaza. Britain could use diplomacy to
what?
the poorest people in the world in Yemen for the crime of defending some of the most persecuted people in the world in Gaza. Britain could use diplomacy to solve these issues, but instead it sneaks and scuttles across the region working for Israel. Britain and the United States bombed 73 locations in Yemen last night. Are shipping containers more important?
I'm sorry, is the way he phrased that just there. Let me hear that
working
again.
for Israel. Britain and the United States bombed several, but instead it sneaks and scuttles across the region working for Israel. Britain.
Like, what is this, like, weird, the Jews control the world, like, type narrative that they're doing here? Like, is this not, like, a very strange thing for them to do? Like, oh, they're all working for Israel. No. Like, let's look at how many people are involved again that are named, all right? US, UK, Australia, Bahrain, Canada, Denmark, Greece, Netherlands, Norway, Singapore, Sri Lanka, and then whatever they are, all right? We don't even know how strong these forces are because it's top secret. We don't know how big it is, but we know that there are lots of people here that are all working together, some of which have criticisms of Israel that aren't America, right? Like the US has criticisms of Israel too, believe it or not. I know these people would never like believe that, even though there's plenty of news stories showing that Biden administration has been pushing back against some of their actions, but whatever. Like, the Jews aren't controlling this one, folks.
Britain and the United States bombed 73 locations in Yemen last night. Are shipping containers more important than human lives? Joe Biden is now the 4th US president in a row to have bombed Yemen. Britain has had a role meddling in...
Can someone link me the, oh, you know what? I think if I look up no opinion Houthi. Oh, man. Oh, it's going to be super fucking hard to find the post that I'm thinking of, because this guy posts so many pictures of rabbits on his Twitter. Let me scroll down super far real quick until I see them. God, there's so many AI pics of rabbits on No Opinions. Nope, I can't find it. It won't let me. It's so dishonest to claim it's only for shipping containments. Wait. I think that it's a huge part because of shipping containments, right? Maybe I'm missing something. What am I looking for? I'm just looking for the No Opinion, the Noah Smith post about all the Houthis. Well, here's some pictures. Just so you guys know, these are Houthis. I don't know if you guys know this. But their flag literally says, God is the greatest. One second. Can you guys even see this? No. One second. Look. It says, God is the greatest. Death to America. Death to Israel. A curse upon the Jews. Victory to Islam. These are not good people. These are not the champions These are not the champions that you're looking for the Palestinian people. Reason is not just because of shipping containments. If you don't understand the bigger picture, you need to shut the fuck up. Well, it's about international trade in totality. It's not about these specific boats. To be ultra clear, it's not about these specific boats. It's about international trade in totality and the confidence behind it. Jesus Christ, it's loud. Houthi supporters hold Nazi salute, chant anti-America, anti-Semitic slogans in video. They're going to give us any captions? What are they saying? I wish that had like closed captioning so I knew what they were saying. So yeah, these are interesting people. Not exactly paragons of the left, but...
bombed Yemen. Britain has had a role meddling, invading, and airstriking Yemen since 1839. Today we are in a situation where the
in a
war
continuous
on
capacity?
Yemen represents a continuation of the last decade of war in the country. It's believed 377,000 people were killed. 85,000 children are believed to have died of starvation across the last decade or so in Yemen, thanks to the British and US-backed war. During that period, British-trained pilots dropped British...
This war is backed by, like, everyone who disagrees with Iran, including... mind you, other countries in the region. It's not like every country in the region just automatically sides with everyone who's in their region. Right? It's not like we're sitting here trying to see like, oh, well, do all of the people in the Middle East want us to fucking just leave? No. Saudi Arabia wants us there. Saudi Arabia has been funding this war as well. Are they also the bad guys? They're not great guys, but are they also the bad guys here? Or is it only the US and the UK?
Made bombs from British-made planes with targeting help coming directly from British officers. You even had the use of British-made cluster bombs, which were produced in the 80s, but are now considered illegal. These were used by British-backed forces on the people of Yemen.
Hold on. Not everybody agrees that those are illegal. Okay. First off, now, maybe they should be, maybe they shouldn't be. I'm kind of agnostic on it. The reasoning is because some of the munitions don't explode. And so therefore, after the war is concluded, there's a risk to people who are, civilians still in the area, right? Like that's the reason why they want to make the cluster bombs illegal. But not every country has said that they want to do that, and I don't even know if that's germane to the argument here.
Main company which benefited from that war in this country was BAE Systems, with around $20 billion worth of sales to Saudi Arabia. BAE Systems launched an advertising campaign at the time aimed at children, where aircraft technicians, the very aircraft technicians that would be operating on the planes sold to Saudi Arabia to bomb Yemen with, would be reading children's stories.
Once upon a time, a father and two children lived by a lake.
I'm sorry. Are we criticizing? Say it again?
Stories.
Once upon...
Technicians, the very aircraft technicians that would be operating on the planes sold to Saudi Arabia to bomb Yemen with, would be reading children's stories.
I'm sorry. You're wearing the Palestinian, like, keffiyeh or whatever the fuck it's called, and then you're going to criticize... you're going to criticize someone else for using children's books and children's stories for their purposes? Really? That's where we're going? We're going to ignore the Palestinians using fucking Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck or whatever the fuck? That's what we're doing now? Really? We're just ignoring all of that shit? Uh-oh. Looks like my shit got rocked. Earlier. Hopefully that helps.
Once upon a time, a father and 2 children lived by a lake, next to a deep, dark forest.
We cannot forget that components for the F-35, which Israel is using in its genocidal war on Gaza, are produced in this very country.
On
we
what?
look at Israel sniping women in a church in Gaza. The components for the sniper rifles were sold to them by the British, and the very sniper rifles themselves were sold by the British. We also are constantly being told that this is about protecting civilian life. Are all those ships that the Yemeni armed forces have intercepted civilian? The very first ship that the Yemeni armed forces seized in the Red Sea was a vessel known as the Central Park. The Central Park was owned by Zodiac Maritime. Now, Zodiac Maritime is a British registered company owned by the Offer family, the richest family in Israel. This company and this family were revealed by the Times newspaper over a decade ago to be ferrying elite units of Israeli intelligence across the region to carry out assassinations. Zodiac Maritime is an arm of Israeli intelligence. So when the Yemeni armed forces targeted them, they had reason to believe that those ships were being used for Israeli surveillance. But we also need to look closely at the military contractors tasked with protecting Zodiac Maritime ships. The company is none other than British security and intelligence firm Ambry, a security company which is staffed by former high-ranking employees.
What the fuck is happening right now?
Of Defense. For example, James Hopkinson, prior to working for Ambry, he was the assistant head of counter-terrorism.
This is
at the
just
UK
about this one
Ministry
ship?
of Defense. Another key figure at Ambry is none other than Harry Pearce, previously an operations manager with the British military. So here we have a British company staffed by former British military personnel protecting an Israeli-owned British shipping company which has been reported to act for Israeli intelligence in the Red Sea. This is certainly not the civilian target that Keir Starmer and others make it out to be. And besides, it's a very strange world when we look at shipping containers as civilian targets, but not hospitals, schools, churches, and mosques in Gaza.
Nobody disagrees that those can be civilian targets, and oftentimes are, but when they're used in a military capacity, suddenly they stop being civilian infrastructure. Is that hard to understand? Which part of that is hard to understand? One second, let me also do this real quick. There we go. I'm sorry, this is so fucking stupid. He's talking about one ship. How many ships were attacked? Wait. How many attacks have there been? Attacks on ships. The Houthis have sporadically targeted ships in the region over time, but the attacks have increased since the start of the war. Spiked after an explosion on October 17th. at a hospital in Gaza killed and injured many. Oh, are we talking about the one that the fucking jihadists did? As of Thursday, the Houthis had launched 27 different attacks on vessels transiting the southern Red Sea. He's still talking about one boat. And he's having to talk about, look how far back in this video we have to go.
The war on Gaza are produced in this very country.
Let's see here.
We look at Israel sniping women in a church in Gaza. The components
Not talking about the
themselves
boats.
were sold by that this is about protecting civilian life. Are all those ships that the Yemeni armed forces have intercepted civilian? The very first ship that the Yemeni armed forces seized in the Red Sea was a vessel known as the Central Park. The Central Park was owned by Zodiac Maritime. Now, Zodiac Maritime is a British registered company owned by the Offer family, the richest family in Israel. This company and this family were revealed by the Times newspaper over a decade ago to be ferrying elite units of Israeli intelligence across the region to carry out assassinations.
What about the other
Zodiac
26
Maritime
ships?
Is an arm of Israeli intelligence.
Oh, thank
so
you.
When
This is the does it have the captions in the video here? Jesus Christ, where's the volume? Okay, no captions. Death to America, death to Israel, curse the Jews. I'm just going to say, if you guys are saying curse the Jews while doing this, it's not a good look. It's not a good look. Not going to lie.
the Yemeni armed forces targeted them, they had reason to believe that those ships were being used for Israeli surveillance. But we also need to look closely at the military contractors tasked with protecting Zodiac Maritime ships. The company is none other than British security and intelligence firm Ambry, a security company which is staffed by former high-ranking employees of the British Ministry of Defence. For example, James Hopkinson, prior to working for Ambry, he was the assistant head of counter-terrorism at the UK Ministry of Defence. Another key figure at Ambry is none other than Harry Pearce, previously an operations manager with the British military. So here we have a British company staffed by former British military personnel protecting an Israeli-owned British shipping company which has been reported to act for Israeli intelligence in the Red Sea. This is certainly not the civilian target.
What about
that
the other
Keir
26?
Starmer and
What about the
others
Russian
make it
ship?
out to be. And
What about the
besides,
26
it's
other
a very
ships?
strange world when we
What
look
about
at
the Russian
shipping
one?
containers as civilian targets, but not hospitals, schools, churches, and
Maybe
mosques
Hamas
in
should leave
Gaza.
those places.
Countries like Yemen, Iraq, Libya, Afghanistan, across our lifetime, have functioned as cash cows for the military-industrial complex. The war on terror, on average, consisted of the US and its allies dropping 46 bombs per day. Do we think that more bombs on a country in the Middle East will bring anything but profits for the worst of humanity? A great man once said,
If this was so egregious, why did Russia and China, you know, people who are allied with Iran, why did they not veto it? Why didn't they veto it? If it was so bad, why didn't they veto it? Could it be maybe even they, when they abstained and allowed it to happen, might have thought, I think personally that it's a bad idea to attack international shipping lanes? Do you think that might be the case?
They've got money for wars, but can't feed the poor. At a time when temperatures in Britain are falling to minus...
How many people are starving to death? How many people are starving to death in fucking England? Nobody.
-4, and people are sleeping on the streets. When doctors, nurses, railway workers, teachers are on strike because of their unjust working conditions, this government wants to use your money to bomb some of the poorest people in the world. We must aspire to be like former British soldier Ahmed al-Batati. In the midst of the war on Yemen, which was leading to a child dying every 10 minutes, Ahmed al-Batati stood outside Downing Street in his uniform and protested against the war on Yemen. Ahmed al-Batati was then arrested and detained and discharged from the British Army for his service to humanity. We must at this time rebel on the very same basis that our government is a direct participant in Israel's war on the region. If you find yourself bombing some of the poorest people in the world to defend a genocide against some of the most persecuted people in the world, you're not the good guys. We have a mainstream media which is servile to the interests of the oppressors. For that reason, we have to support alternatives which can break that dominance on the narrative. So I would ask that you support Double Down News now through Patreon and continue to allow Double Down News to present the view from below.
Okay. Dude, look at this totally non-civilian ship. Yeah. No, we've seen this before, I'm pretty sure. Why are they even taking cover? Do commercial cargo ships routinely carry weapons? And you know what? Fair point. I don't understand. He's arguing that these are military targets, not civilian. Okay, fine. Let's grant him that. Then Israel, Britain, and America should flatten that country because they just attacked the strongest militaries in the world. Fucking true. If they are attacking military targets, then we should be able to attack them back. So interesting. So interesting. Let's see if there's any other news videos on it. Holy ship.
Overnight, the U.S. launched another series of strikes against Houthi rebels in Yemen. This
I'll check
follows
it right
Thursday's
after this.
targeted strikes by the U.S. and the U.K. on 60 different sites in the Houthi-controlled western part of Yemen. The Houthi rebels have been attacking a vital international shipping route in the Red Sea for several weeks. President Biden noted in a statement that the Houthi attacks on commercial vessels in the Red Sea jeopardize trade and that, quote, more than 2,000 ships have been forced to divert thousands of miles to avoid the Red Sea, which can cause weeks of delay in product shipping times. I want to take a look at this shipping route and what's been going on in the Red Sea. The Houthi attacks on freight ships are happening here at the bottom of the screen. You can see the Bab al-Mandab Strait. It's the only way for ships from the east coming through the Gulf of Aden to get into the Arabian Sea and ultimately get into the Suez Canal. Now, Right here, the Suez Canal, which you can see toward the top of the screen, it's one of the most important shipping passages in the world. Even in 2024, ocean shipping remains the beating heart of global trade, and the Suez Canal is one of the important major arteries. Last time I talked to you about the Suez Canal was in 2021, when a colossal container ship got jammed in the passage, blocking the waterway for 6 days. The Suez Canal rivals the newly opened Arctic Passage as one of the quickest routes between Asia and Europe. 17,000 ships carrying $1 trillion worth of goods pass through it every year. That's 12% of annual global trade, according to Lloyd's List, a global shipping news outlet. But the Houthi attacks have forced shipping companies to reconsider using this vital route. At least 6 of the 10 biggest shipping companies in the world have either decreased the number of ships they send through the Red Sea or diverted their entire fleet from the area. And after U.S.-led strikes in the area began on Thursday, even more ships are diverting from the route. So what's plan B? Well, for one, these shipping companies could keep using the Gate of Mandab Strait and the Red Sea, but that risks their ships being attacked by the Houthi rebels and would come at a steep price. The cost to ship containers through that passage has skyrocketed. According to Drury, which is a London-based shipping analysis firm, in the week of November 21st, when the attacks began, it cost $1,148 to ship a 40-foot container from Taiwan to the Netherlands. That's just a good example of a place in the East and a place in Europe. Ships hold thousands of these 40-foot containers, fueled in part by a sharp jump in insurance premiums. Prices are now at $4,406 per container. It's almost 4 times as expensive. Many shipping companies are going with a safer option and diverting most of their ships. So where are they sending them? Well, the most viable alternative, especially in winter,
All the
in
way
the
around
Northern
Africa.
Hemisphere, is to go all the way around the Cape of Good Hope and go past South Africa at the very bottom of Africa. But take a look at how much longer this journey around the Cape of Good
And also, something to keep in mind, it's not just the fact that they have to redirect and go a longer distance. It's also the fact that there's going to be longer waiting times at these, what do you call them? Let me see here. Go up. There's going to be longer waiting times at all of these different ports. Holy fuck, I could not think of the word. Why? Because the Suez Canal, the Panama Canal, any of the major shipping routes, they're going to have a lot of different spots for people to go to. 1 second, let's see here. Let's do it like this. Yeah, so they're going to have a lot more of an ability to handle this many ships trying to dock and refuel and get more supplies in their ports than someplace like, South Africa. Even though it's still a place where ships go for international trade, it's not going to be as effective as someplace like, I don't know, fucking the Suez Canal. They don't have the infrastructure built up there. And it's just like a fact of the matter. It's not because, oh, well, it's just going to take more time. It's literally the capabilities for these different ports. The capabilities for these different ports to handle refueling these ships. And so there will be more waiting times associated with those different, what do you call them? With those different ports that we're now having to utilize more. So there's an increased cost at the front end for the there's an increased cost for the insurance in the first place, and then there's an increased cost for any of the, are you fucking my ass, bro? Seriously? Let's go. Let's start shooting. I need to build a fucking... Why did you guys come all the way down here to start attacking? Okay. Don't forget gas prices. I'm pretty sure ocean takers burn the most gas in the world. They do. They're the single most gas guzzlingest the gas guzzlingest machines in the world. Sorry, I can't think right now.
Good Hope is compared to passing through the Suez Canal and the Red Sea. It would add 7 to 10 days to the trip. The ships are going to face more extreme weather conditions sailing down the east side of Africa and up the west side of Africa than they would in the Red Sea. And these sorts of delays can have knock-on effects for the global economy. The shipping industry today works on what's called a just-in-time basis. Ships are meant to reach their ports exactly on schedule. Port space is limited, so even one late boat can trigger a domino effect. Diversions like this can mean delays in consumer goods, log jams at ports, and increased shipping costs, which translate to longer wait times and higher prices for consumers. The longer the issue remains, the more adverse its effects are going to be. IKEA has already warned of product shortages. Companies like Tesla and Volvo have paused production at some of their factories to avoid having a backlog of supplies. But some experts say this won't be as bad as the impact of COVID-era supply chain issues because fleet capacity is higher. There are more ships. The shipping rates we've seen in recent weeks are still much lower than what we saw in January of 2022 during the peak of COVID-related supply chain issues. By the way, the U.S.-led military response to Houthi attacks on the Red Sea is not without economic consequence itself. U.S. crude oil prices jumped 4.5% on Friday morning as a response to these strikes.
Okay. One more video on this, and then we'll go through the links that Gas gave us.
We're following right
Oh,
now.
you know what video we should watch? There was one that I listened to the other day that was very interesting. Let me just scroll down because I can never remember this fucker's name. Ever. I can never remember his fucking name. No,
On early
not this one.
12th of January, U.S.
The one right before this one. Oh, cool. I have to scroll all the way down again. Cool.
The world keeps getting more interesting.
Okay, last video, and
doesn't
then
it?
we'll go through
In
the
the dark
links.
morning hours of January 12th, 2024, the United States and the United Kingdom engaged in a large bombing campaign against Houthi rebels in Yemen. The impetus for this was a growing crisis in the Red Sea that started 2 months earlier, and that, over time, evolved to threaten the global economy as a whole. A pretty remarkable feat for an upstart rebel government. Given the importance of the subject matter at hand, what happens next will have critical implications for the entire world. That is why, today, we are going to cover a brief overview of the crisis and the January 12th operation, the asymmetry problem that the coalition is trying to overcome, whether there are any diversionary incentives in the West that underlie the strikes, the role that the United Nations played in it, whether this will be the end, and the problem that arises if it is not. But we begin with a brief background and overview of the attack on the Houthis. Information is still coming in on the operation, so bear in mind that what we know is likely to change after production of this video. The background was the broader Red Sea shipping crisis. We just covered this in depth earlier this very week, so check that video if you want a more complete story. Regardless, here is the basic idea of what's going on. Houthi rebels in Yemen, who control about this segment of the country, began attacking shipping routes off of those coastal waters, ostensibly as retaliation for Israel's operations in Gaza. This resulted in international condemnation, because further north is the Suez Canal, and because about $1 trillion of world trade per year passes through there. In December, the United States initiated Operation Prosperity Guardian, a perfectly American name for it, which built an international coalition meant to protect the shipping lanes. On January 3rd, the coalition issued a final warning to the Houthis: cut it out, or else. However, pretty soon on the frolic around and find out scale, we began to find out that the function does indeed strictly increase. 1 week later, the Houthis attempted their largest attack yet, targeting the USS Mason, the USS Laboon, the USS Eisenhower, and the HMS Diamond. Though the drones and missiles failed to reach their targets, the coalition had seen enough of that. January 12th local time, or January 11th back in the States, began a new phase of the conflict, with coalition strikes hitting land-based targets in Yemen. The kinetic participants were the United States and the United Kingdom, with additional support of unknown forms from Australia, Bahrain, Canada, and the Netherlands. It was a busy day because, at the time, Prime Minister Rishi Sunak was also headed to Kyiv. Despite that, the United Kingdom contributed 4 Typhoon jets, flying in all the way from Cyprus, and dropping a series of 500-pound Paveway 4 bombs. Meanwhile, the United States launched FA-18s from its Eisenhower carrier to join in on the bombing runs, while other American ships fired Tomahawk cruise missiles. 16 distinct targets were hit within a handful of Houthi-controlled locations, including some within the capital. Installations included the houses of unmanned aerial vehicles and ballistic and cruise missiles, essentially the technology that the Houthis were using to target ships, the likely origin of which hints at the deeper problem here. Not that this is anything new. The previous file photo came from the era of Nikki Haley's tenure as United Nations ambassador, and she is very busy doing other things right now. More on that general season in a moment. However, the strikes also hit the Houthis' coastal radar and air surveillance capabilities. This is important because it sets the stage for further attacks, if the coalition wishes to go in that direction. Okay, done with the background. As a starting point on the analysis, the main trouble that the West is facing is an asymmetry in the mode of attack. The proliferation of relatively inexpensive missiles and very cheap drones seems to put the Sea Guardians in an awkward spot. They are spending millions to defend each attack, while the Houthis are spending thousands to commit each attack. It sounds like a recipe for absolute disaster. And indeed, on the surface, when offense is easier than defense, it appears that the world becomes more unstable. This is definitely true in the extreme. Gods of war help us if a nuclear first strike could ever instantly win a conflict, because that is a very good way for someone to get an itchy trigger finger. By contrast, though, Houthi shipping attacks are much more modest. But if you want to deter attacks when the offense is favored, well, you cannot just keep hiding out and playing defense. You need to go on offense as well, in a domain that favors you instead. Thus, somewhat paradoxically, the offenses keep each other in check. At least until January 11th, the Houthis were not showing much concern about retaliation. Going forward, they will have to. And that is the basic idea of why the United States and the United Kingdom launched the strikes. Indeed, contrary to any domestic diversionary expectations, there is a lot of bipartisan agreement that the operation was a good idea for the participant countries as a whole. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell issued a statement that he welcomed the U.S. and coalition operations. Meanwhile, Speaker of the House Mike Johnson was also supportive. Actually, both indicated that they would like to see more done, not less. Trump, I think, also would have wanted to act sooner. Truth be told, I don't really know. That one is much harder to parse than the others. This is noteworthy because the United States is in an election year, and with that comes incentives to stir up conflicts and bask in rally-round-the-flag effects. It also comes at a time when the Biden administration is facing a minor scandal, after Secretary of State Lloyd Austin was hospitalized for 4 days, but failed to inform anyone, including the president and Congress. However, bipartisan support indicates that diversion was not at play here. The story is similar across the pond. Leader of the opposition, Keir Starmer, also voiced support for the operation. This connects to the United Nations' role in the saga. As of a few days ago, it appeared that there was deadlock within the Security Council on the issue. Russia and China have veto power within the chamber, and they did not seem keen on supporting any measures. This was despite how they both rely on the Suez Canal for international trade. Nevertheless, the Council adopted Resolution 2722 on January 10th, which called on the Houthis to cease attacks in the Red Sea. Despite their skepticism, Russia and China allowed the motion to go through by abstaining from the vote. This happens when a state with veto power believes that the alternative to some resolution would be even worse. Here, that appears to be a PR blitz from the West. The preparation for this included Secretary of State Antony Blinken traveling the region to increase the coalition's support, despite growing frustration in the region with Israel. Failure to budge risked making Russia and China look obstructionist, at a time when the United States was committed to taking action. The concession that Russia and China won here was a very toned-down resolution, which now becomes the official position of the Security Council. It is worth noting that domestic rallies are stronger when they follow Security Council authorization, though the consequence here is nebulous because the resolution only condemns Houthi actions, without directly authorizing the kinetic response. Moving to the last puzzle for today. Is this the end of the saga, or is it just the first chapter in a new book? Suppose that the answer is that this is indeed the end. Then the onus is on explaining what the attack did to resolve whatever issue was causing the broader crisis in the first place. Sometimes the issues get resolved by default, because the other side has been militarily defeated. That is not the case here. The strikes were relatively minimal compared to what would happen in a real war with a full military conclusion. The optimistic outlook here, if you want this thing to end, is that the Houthis did not believe that the coalition was actually willing to escalate things this far. Talk is cheap, after all. Anyone can issue a press release with various threats. What separates the credible from the incredible is willingness to follow through. The strikes ought to have ended any questions that the Houthis had about the coalition's resolve. If that uncertainty drove the affair in the first place, then we can all go home very shortly. However, as we discussed last time, another interpretation here is that the Houthis are using the crisis as an advertisement for their cause. That being the case, they might wish to prolong the crisis so that the airwaves continue broadcasting their message. For their part, the Houthis are promising to retaliate. But this comes with the same skepticism as before. It is one thing for an actor to engage in cheap talk threats. It is another for them to actually follow through. The best we have in terms of a prediction market for this is oil exchanges. The price of Brent crude rose about $3 to $80 per barrel on news of the attack, though it started receding a little bit by the end of the following day. Still, that would seem to suggest that the initial market bet is on further short-term instability as a consequence of this. And that raises the problems of what happens next if the Houthis do respond. As we have discussed before, the trouble that the West faces here is twofold. First, much of the Houthis' valuable property that the United States and the United Kingdom would like to threaten to destroy was already taken care of by Saudi Arabia years ago as a part of the Saudi intervention into the Yemen civil war. In a traditional lines-on-maps framework, threatening higher costs pushes an opposing red line further back. Yep, we fit the lines in today. Well done. But the Houthis have already borne those costs, and so the United States can no longer use those types of threats for leverage. Second is the fact that the Houthis are an Iranian proxy, and so the likely source of the weapons is in Iran, not Yemen. And going after those sources would spiral this crisis into a much larger conflict. Still, Washington left open a clear next step on the ladder of escalation. So far, the coalition has only struck military targets. That leaves open the threat to go next to political targets, assuming that the Houthis want to go down a road that could take them there at all. Of course, that assumes that Iran does not force the Houthis to go down that road whether they want to or not. What do you think will happen next in the Red Sea? Let me know in the comments. If you want to know more about the broader conflict in the Middle East, check out this playlist on the subject. And if you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Take care.
Okay. Israel's heart. Okay. Okay, so we have number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, and number 6. Maybe Democrats can solve their Biden on the ticket problem by impeaching him for blatantly unconstitutional strikes on Yemen. The president needs to come to Congress before launching a strike against the Houthis in Yemen and involving us in another Middle East conflict. That is Article 1 of the Constitution. I will stand up for that regardless of whether a Democrat or a Republican is in the White House. President is violating Article 1 of the Constitution by carrying out airstrikes in Yemen without congressional approval. The American people are tired of endless war. This is why I called for a ceasefire early. This is why I voted against war in Iraq. It always comes back to the war in Iraq, doesn't it? It's always literally that one thing. Violence only begets more violence. We need a ceasefire now to prevent deadly, costly, catastrophic escalation of violence in the region. Okay. If they're going to say this, Article 1 Constitution. No citizen of this state shall be deprived of life, liberty, property, privileges, or immunities, or in any manner disenfranchised except by the due course. Okay, this is Texas. Okay, I was about to say. All legislative powers herein granted shall be vested in the Congress of the United States, which shall consist of a Senate and House of Representatives. Let me see where the... To declare war but we're not declaring war. We're doing a strike. Now, I don't understand what part of that he's... Because doesn't the president have the ability to inform Congress and his like some amount of time, I think it's a couple of days, to either finish up whatever he's doing or to get congressional approval to extend the conflict? Is that correct? Isn't it like the War Powers Act? War Powers Act. Designed to limit U.S. president's ability to initiate or escalate military actions abroad. As part of our system of governmental checks and balances, the law aims to check the executive powers when committing U.S. military forces to an armed conflict without the consent of the U.S. Congress. It stipulates the president must notify Congress within 48 hours of military action and prohibits armed forces from remaining for more than 60 days. The Constitution divides war powers between Congress and the President. Only Congress can declare war and appropriate military funding, yet the President is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. Okay. The continued bombing of Kosovo during Bill Clinton's administration in 1999 and military action against Libya. So within 48 hours, they have to notify Congress, and they have to finish up within 3 or 2 months. Is that it? Yeah, exactly. What Killer Seek said. Basically allows the president to act quickly, but provides a way to force the president to pass off to Congress for the long term. Yeah. So what is Biden doing here? I just don't understand what the actual... Yeah, Biden's actions are legal here. As of today, the Houthis are blocking the Suez Canal for both U.S. and U.K. commercial ships as well. That was already the case. Previously, we focused only on maritime shipping associated with the Zionist entity. Today, American and British ships will no longer dare to cross the Red Sea. Bro, they want to meet Allah so bad, dude. Bro. They want to meet Allah so bad. Holy shit. America isn't bombing specific places. Why didn't they bomb this? Yeah, we're definitely wanting to commit genocide. Why didn't we like blow all of these people up? Is there anyone that was? Did anyone? Okay, let's hear if anyone has like an actual argument. There was one. Okay, let's see what their
Joining me now is the
argument
Congresswoman
is.
Pramila Jayapal, Democrat of Washington, and a vocal critic of the White House's decision to engage in military strikes without congressional authorization. Representative Jayapal, good to see you as always. Thank you for joining us. Let me ask you, just to clarify, what is it that you're objecting to? Is it the object of the strikes themselves, or is it that the president engaged in them without congressional approval, or both?
It is the latter. It is that the president engaged in these strikes without seeking congressional approval. And this is a long debated issue,
doesn't
of course,
have to.
because Article 1 of the Constitution gives the power to declare war to Congress. Article 2 gives the power to the president to direct military forces as commander-in-chief. And so just backing up, in 1973, amidst the disastrous war in Vietnam and the ways in which the United States was pulled into that conflict little by little, Congress decided to reassert our congressional authority by passing the War Powers Resolution of 1973. And in the War Powers Resolution, it specifically articulated the instances where the president can initiate use of force and military actions that commit United States forces. And there were 3 instances. 1 was a declaration of war. 2 is statutory authority is given. And 3 is instances where the United States faces an emergency attack on the United States or on its possessions or territories. Now, the intent here was to say that the president must be
Let me hear those stipulations again.
or on its possessions of war. 2 is statutory authority is given. And 3 is instances where the United States faces an emergency attack on the United States or on its possessions or territories. Now, the intent...
Man, those Houthis definitely shouldn't have attacked that American ship then. Like, do they not recognize that they shot missiles at an American ship, thus completely destroying that complaint? Did they forget about that one?
Here was to say that the president must be in consultation whenever possible with Congress. And in fact, Section 3 of the War Powers Resolution says that. It specifically says, in every circumstance where possible, the president must consult with Congress so that we have both Congress and the president weighing what the course forward should be. In this situation, Ali, what the president did is consult with a huge number of allies. It took weeks. And in fact, the White House was telegraphing that there was going to be some retaliation. So there was certainly time and space to come to Congress and consult with Congress and ask for our authority, particularly given that the reason that the Houthis, and this is a violent extremist group, we obviously have to deal with the Houthis, but particularly because the Houthis were saying that the reason that they're doing this is because of the war in Gaza. And so I think that the implications of all of this are that the United States could be pushed into a significant set of hostilities and a committing of our resources, and that is something that Congress should consider. I don't think we can anymore say that we are in danger of the Gaza war spreading. It is already happening, and it's happening right here before our eyes.
So I spoke to your colleague Gregory Meeks yesterday, and he was saying that the president did inform Congress. There's a distinction here in what you're talking about informing Congress versus consulting with Congress. Some might say you're splitting hairs. Others might say we got ourselves into a war for a very long time in Iraq. And by the way, Vietnam, which was never a war. It was always some kind of action. So the War Powers Act was meant to constrain the president, not give them extra freedoms.
That's right. And there is a big distinction. It isn't splitting hairs. It is a big distinction between informing and consulting with and seeking authority from Congress. And so in this case, that third instance that I mentioned of when there's an emergency attack, in that situation, the president must inform within 48 hours, must inform Congress. And so I think that this situation is one where clearly there was the time and space. And the intent of Congress in the War Powers Resolution was to say that in every circumstance, Democratic president, Republican president, whatever the circumstance is, we need to ensure that Congress is consulted. And again, I would just say that particularly given the circumstances here, given that this is in the Middle East, given that Israel's war on Gaza is continuing and it has significant consequences for us to be drawn in, as the Houthis want us to be drawn in, I would argue. I think that this is absolutely a circumstance where the president is required to consult with Congress and I think needs to come to us now and ask for authorities for anything further that they intend to do.
I'm an economics guy, so I'm very interested in the shipping routes and things like that. Definitely a valid economic concern. I wasn't sure how that constituted an imminent threat to the United States when I talked to Congressman Meeks, and I said, well, why did the president have the ability to take this action without consulting Congress. And he felt that the Houthis had demonstrated their ability to threaten U.S. interests and certainly had launched some attacks in that direction. The argument being it needed to be done quickly, as opposed to the process of getting approval from Congress. What's your take on that?
Well, look, certainly the United States and our allies have an interest in defending the freedom and the shipping routes. They are very important economically. But again, I would just say, what is the problem with coming to Congress and asking for our authority? Again, given the context of this particular situation, it's even more enhanced, I think. But, that is not a reason. That is not what the War Powers Resolution says is, any threat that's out there is a threat and therefore the president has the right. No, it says that, and it specifically says this within the War Powers Resolution, that in any situation where the president can consult with Congress and ask authority of Congress, he or she should do that. And so that is the situation here. We've had weeks where the president could come to Congress and say, this is the plan. And in fact, I had a conversation yesterday with a top State Department official where they explained all of their rationale. Well, great, come explain it to Congress. Let us have that conversation, because in my mind, this is both about how we protect our shipping routes, but it is also about the war in Gaza and how do we make sure that that does not expand. There are serious consequences here. And that is why I've been, as you know, calling for a ceasefire, because violence does beget violence. And we have to stop ourselves from getting pulled into these conflicts with more violence.
Violence begets more violence. The Houthis are choosing to do this. It feels like there's so many. Like in Dragon Ball Z and in Naruto, there are like characters that have training weights on them, right? Like Goku has, 150 pounds of training weights on his regular clothing. Rock Lee, when he drops his training weights, it creates a fucking, giant fucking explosion because they're so fucking heavy. And then he can go full Kaioken fucking 360 no scope, Giga Chad, whatever the fuck, right? It feels like the United States and Israel and basically everyone who is a liberalized or at least seeking to liberalize country has to deal with these fucking losers, right? Who have no responsibilities. They have nothing that they have to do. Right? They have no responsibilities. They're just too stupid to not do war. But when we start doing something, oh hell, we're responding to the belligerent fucking crazy terrorists' attacks on international fucking shipping lanes. And we're the bad guys? Israel gets attacked on October 7th? They still have 100+ fucking hostages, and Israel is the bad guy for responding to Hamas? Oh, well, don't invade Gaza. Oh, well, you're shooting bombs? Well, why aren't you invading Gaza as opposed to, I don't understand. Why do we have so much onus to be peaceful when people are attacking us? They are attacking holdings of the United States. They are attacking things that we have made a commitment to protect in international trading. So fuck yeah, we're going to fucking bomb the fuck out of them. It's insane.
Violence, because it will have long-term.
Let me hear it again.
And ask authority of Congress, he or she should do that. And so that is the situation here. We've had weeks where the president could come to Congress and say, this is the plan. And in fact, I had a conversation yesterday with a top State Department official where they explained all of their rationale. Well, great, come explain it to Congress. Let us have that conversation, because in my mind, this is both about how we protect our shipping routes, but it is also about the war in Gaza and how do we make sure that that does not expand. There are serious consequences here. And that is why I've been, as you know, calling for a ceasefire, because violence does beget violence. And we have to stop ourselves from getting pulled into these conflicts with more violence, because it will have long-term ramifications. That is what happened exactly as we talked about in the Vietnam War, in other conflicts. And that is why in 1973, Congress said, we are going to reassert our constitutional authority.
Congressman, always good to talk to you. Thank you for taking the time to join with us this morning. The Democratic representative of Washington, Pramila Jayapal.
I don't know. It seems fucking insane to me how fucking cucked we have to act in order to facilitate these fucking insane literal jihadists' behavior. Like, does it not feel a little racist to say, like, they just can't help it? Does it not feel like a little wrong to say, like, they literally just can't stop bombing shit? Does that not seem fucking insane? Does that feel a little crazy to you? Oh my god, they're attacking down there. Oh my god, I hate this game. Kyle is even worse? Okay. I don't know if I'm going to have time to finish. Oh, fuck. Pause. Let's just peek at the Kyle Kalinske thing.
All right, guys, I got some big breaking news that just came out. We're getting reports that the U.S. and the U.K. have decided
Leftist audio.
that they are going to airstrike Yemen. Now, when I say that, I don't just mean sort of tit for tat on the seas. I mean, they are targeting cities and specific targets in Houthi-held areas of Yemen. It's a little difficult in the fog of war to get all, good information right up front here. But here are the names of some of the cities that allegedly they're bombing at this moment. Sana'a, Hodeida, Sada, Damar, Taiz, and Zabid. So if these reports are true, then that is a number of cities, a number of targets in Houthi-held regions in Yemen. Now, I, of course, should point out that the U.S. and the U.K. are doing this. They say that, like, the Netherlands and some other countries are with them with this coalition. But this is always what they do. They'll, like, drag in some other countries and pretend like they're part of this big coalition, but really it's just to get the name down on paper to make it appear more official than it actually is. I mean, the big point to make here is this is illegal. In order for the U.S. to start bombing another country, you need a declaration of war.
No, you
through
don't.
Congress.
You actually
what the
don't.
Constitution says.
It actually says
And Biden
the exact opposite.
didn't
You
do
actually
that.
don't need that at all.
If you had the time to go talk to the UK and go talk to the Netherlands and whoever else was nominally involved here, you didn't go and talk to Congress at all. In fact, I've already seen a number of tweets, and credit to these politicians who are coming out and saying this, but Val Hoyle is one congressperson who says these airstrikes have not been authorized by Congress. The Constitution is clear. Congress has the sole authority to authorize military involvement in overseas conflicts. Every president must first come to Congress and ask for military authorization, regardless of party. We have Ro Khanna came out and said a very, very similar thing. And I don't know, I haven't seen any Republicans yet say it, but of course, I know Thomas Massie will come out and say it. There may even be others who come out and say it. I saw Lindsey Graham celebrating what Biden is doing here. But let's understand something, guys. Why is this happening? Why is it the case now that our tax money is going to bomb Yemen? Because Israel decided to do a genocide in Gaza. They've killed 28,000 civilians, including 12,000 children. And Yemen decided, we want them to stop that, so we're going to go ahead and block the Red Sea to prevent trade with Israel. Now, by the way, they've been clear every step of the way. If Israel stops doing the genocide in Yemen, we will stop controlling the Red Sea and blocking trade with Israel. And so the U.S. looked at that and...
Why are we so keen on giving into the demands of literal violent fucking terrorists? Why are we so keen on it? I just don't get it. Okay, I have to end because I got to get ready for work, everybody. All right, is there anybody on Kick that we can raid into? Host channel. Oh, look, Destiny streaming. All right, we're going to raid into Destiny. I love you guys very much. I can't click on any more stuff, all right, guys? I love you guys very much. I guess I will catch you guys tomorrow or later tonight, I guess. Maybe